This episode of Limit Break Radio is made possible by our generous Patreon donors, including My Waifu of Excalibur, Kaisi and Dax from Lamia, Aaron Noir of Ragnarok. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio.
Live from Eorzea.
Limit Break with your hosts, Unhero.
No high five for you.
Juxtaposition.
Treat me like a dum-dum and a grunt, and I have potential, you know?
Ascalia.
I had some refreshments and I checked your friend's privilege.
And Mika.
Oh, the same entitled crap as always.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio.
I do have potential.
You absolutely have no potential whatsoever.
You treat me like a dum-dum and a grunt.
I do. We do treat you like a dum-dum and a grunt because that's what you are.
But I have potential.
I don't know about that. Welcome to Limit Break Radio, episode number 48.
48.
48.
Oh, we're closing in on 50.
We're getting there.
I know.
God damn, turn my microphone on!
Oh, are you here?
Why?
Damn it!
I didn't know you were. I didn't know you were here. Well, wait, that's the wrong button.
God. Okay. Jesus.
God damn it, Bobby.
Wow.
Guy have to get his microphone turned on around here.
That was dangerously close to a Hank Hill.
Wow. So we're trading down this week, huh?
Yeah. So.
Jux, is this how you feel when you get your microphone turned off?
A little bit. I die a little bit inside.
For whatever reason, though, like whenever we turn off his microphone, like he can always cut through it. You know what I mean? Like you can always
louder.
You can always still hear him. It was like a black hole of sound. I think actually, like, we've been going about deadening the studio all wrong. Like, we've been putting foam up. We should just put you on the wall because I think you absorb more sound than any of this foam shit does.
There's that dead silence anytime I'm on the air. That's weird.
That was amazing. So not only do you suck the fun out of the show,
fuck off.
You suck the sound out of it too. It's amazing. Welcome back, Ascalia.
Yeah, welcome back, Ascalia.
Yeah.
You fun vacuum.
We missed you.
Yeah, you fun Nazi.
Cut him some slack. We were streaming till really late into the morning.
No, I cut him some slack. He wasn't here last week. That's what I'm giving him shit for.
I know.
It's streaming. That's fantastic. You guys were screwing around on an ancient game that nobody gives a shit about.
60 people did all night.
People do. They were with us the whole time.
Out of mild curiosity and morbid fascination.
And my extreme voice acting.
I say morbid fascination because that game is dead.
That game had more people on it last night than like ages.
There was over 1,000
weird.
people on the server. I was very impressed.
I know, it sounds like nothing, but it's better than the 600 I was used to. Like, suddenly it was 1,500 last night. That was weird.
We ran into link shells that were actually NM farming. I was confused.
Yeah, that was weird.
Wait, what?
There was full link shells NM farming in the zone. Yes.
No.
In the zone where we were
in the new zones, yeah.
Come on. Don't lie. Don't lie.
I know. It was so weird.
Oh, man. It was so...
it was fun.
Yeah, Ascalia and Nika getting on the stream last night and doing some classic Final Fantasy XI streaming.
Yep.
Which is awesome. By the way, we are, of course, live from Eorzea, and I actually forgot to mute my sounds. Whoops. My bad. I know. There we go. Now it's fixed. And the iCam's back. welcome, and thank you guys for tuning in live here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. If this is your first time ever catching the show, maybe hit that follow button like Zaldoria did most recently. Thank you, and shout out to Zaldoria and to the, I think it was 3 people that I saw join the LB Army before the show went live. That's so awesome. In fact, hang on, let me see. C&C Decibels, shout out to you. Let's see. 09 subscribed, shout out to you. And Heart Slot subscribed as of this episode. Thank you guys so much. We really do appreciate your support, whether it be a sub at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio, whether it be you subbing and leaving some love over on iTunes, or whether it be over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio, where I am very, very proud to announce, and very excited to announce that Limit Break Radio has topped 2K a month over at Patreon. Woo! Holy shit, guys! Seriously, you guys did this. I'm floored. This happened this past week, and I can't tell you how surprised it made me. Should we point out that 2K, that was our shoot the moon, like, lofty goal that we put on there, so we can always have a goal off the distance. Yeah, and to be able to meet that in under a year. Yes, 11 months.
Let's share the milk of human kindness.
Yeah, it's pretty goddamn impressive, I've got to say. So thank you guys so much for your support over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Posters have gone out this week. You guys should be receiving your posters if you haven't already. So far, of the folks who have gotten them, very excited about the posters. They're badass. Yeah. Except about your signature, Juxta. We signed a few of them.
Yeah.
What happened? What's going on there?
I just put my initials on there.
Why did you just put your initials?
Just JP?
Yeah, JP, bro. What do you mean why? Because
that's your rapper name, JP?
Because I am so popular that's all I have time for. I have so much signing to do. It's just JP. That's it.
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
It's even like catching on. Thor has been calling me JP and Link Shell and stuff like that.
Don't encourage him.
Yeah, don't. He seriously.
JP, man.
Yeah, no. CC Decibels has got it right. It's JPZ. There you go. JPZ.
God.
Juxtaposition.
I'm kind of a favorite around here.
No, you're not.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, we hate you. Just so you know. Just so you know. You got to remember the pecking order, okay? Got to remember the pecking order.
There's something about the dirt, right?
Yes, exactly. Scalia knows where I'm going about this.
Kami?
Yeah, exactly.
I got this.
Yeah. You got, and then under that, you got
Popo Stool.
Yeah.
The dirt.
Yeah.
And then you, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. All right, that's close enough.
Okay, I might have missed one.
There you go.
That was really terrible.
I probably got a B on my Team 4-star quiz.
Yeah, no, but good try. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for your support over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio.
I forgot the worms inside the dirt. Damn it.
There it is. Thank you. Also,
Scully had a better signature than Juxta. That's not good.
True.
That's bad news.
Yeah, you don't ever want Escalia to have anything better than you.
That's a bad place to be, Juxta.
Yeah, that's not a good spot.
I live that every day of my life.
I think you need to get a little bit more competitive with your signature.
Have you thought about getting good?
You're gonna be going to FanFest here, buddy. You need to be able to get good with the sign and shit.
And you know
people
what?
are
I'm gonna be quick with that.
People are gonna be asking you to sign stuff,
and I'll be just like bam, bam.
Yeah, because you're just going JP because you're an asshole.
If you at least put J and some squiggles and P and some squiggles, it will look like you're right.
At least I'm doing an A and squiggles.
That's 13 letters, okay? Yeah, that is a lot of letters.
That's fair to point out. Your signature looked an awful like the @ symbol in an email.
Yeah, well,
he was going for anarchy symbol.
Yeah.
So we've got lazier, weeaboo.
No.
What did Callow have?
No. Lazy, hack. Whatever
weeaboo.
Weeaboo.
Yeah, I had the weeb signature.
Yeah, good job. And I'm sure Kahlo didn't try either because he never tries at anything.
He wrote a letter He wrote like a little.
I'd say at signing autographs, Kahlo would probably try extremely hard.
It is ego stroking. He would
probably put the try hard pants on.
It is ego stroking. I got to give you that.
His is probably calligraphy.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I can't even like imagine like Nika's signature. It was just like blank to me.
Well, nobody wanted to send me theirs, apparently. I would have loved to sign them.
No, because nobody wants to pay $9.50 for postage.
Nika just
I see how much I'm worth.
Nika just puts a gold star on it.
Anyway, so here's the thing. All right, so I want to talk about the 2K milestone because this is a big deal, and obviously we are so grateful for your support. But it unlocks a pretty important thing, and we spent the entire last episode of Final Encountercast talking about the future of the program. What the future of funding for that show is going to look like, and seeking sponsorship and all of that, and getting a little bit more serious. But with this 2K milestone, we had put that at that funding level, we're going to start doing Final Encountercast weekly, and we intend on making good on that goal. But there is a couple of caveats. So the first thing is that at $2,000 a month, we can fund Final Encountercast weekly. Yes. However, it's got to stay at the $2,000 a month. So, when we encourage you guys to sign up at Patreon, this is why we say, sign up at a level that that you can afford. And it's cool. Like, we don't mind people who sign up at, say maybe the $35 level, get the poster, and then drop down to a $5 level. That's cool. Like, that, by all means, get your poster. Like, that's not a big deal.
Poster's badass. Have you seen it?
Yeah. But the thing is that we're looking at that total to be able to consider Final Encountercast solvable, fundable. And so as long as that total stays at 2,000, we're on track to start weekly production of Final Encountercast starting in late March. So that's the goal that we've set for ourselves, and we're going to try to we're actually going to try to do a couple of things. So the first thing is that, and I think we've identified this in some green room videos, and we may have even talked about this on the last Final Encountercast, but 3 hours is a really long run time to do for that show. A total of 6 hours of podcasting to do in one day. That is a shitload of podcasting to do.
Too much.
The effect feels bloated too.
Yeah,
it has that bloated feeling to it.
That's the other thing, is that Limit Break Radio, when we looked at taking it weekly, that show also felt a little bit bloated, and so we did attempt to trim the fat, and we did reduce the running time, at least temporarily, down to between 2.5 to 3 hours, and that's generally where we can top out, and sometimes it goes to 3.5, and when that happens, whatever, it's usually because we're just going over time because of enthusiasm, but we're going to try to set the run time for Final Encountercast at an hour and a half. And I think that is going to shrink the bloat of that show. There's a lot of, that still allows us to cover, gaming news each and every single week. And, that'll, of course, be more current because that's being done on a week-to-week basis. And it allows us to kind of settle in on a topic to really get a good discussion in on. And, of course, we still want to feature your calls and your emails. And so I think that we're going to be able to do that within an hour and a half to 2 hour time frame, and, not make the show feel like it's just dragging. Yeah. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. And then in the month of February, Taser
Smurf brings up an amazing point. You guys can stick to that. And historically, we've not been the best at sticking to that.
Yeah, it's not gone well.
You're
but
not
that's
wrong.
But for realsies this time, guys, okay?
That's the goal that we're setting for ourselves, okay? So the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to treat the month of February as kind of a testing ground and double production. So you're going to get 2 Final Encounter casts in February and then another one in the beginning of March before starting weekly production at the end of March. So we're going to try to get this into a rhythm and maybe try to lock down the form for it a little bit more. We're shopping around some bits to do on the show as well. So we've got some plans and ideas for how to move the show forward. And again, we want to thank you so much for your support, but we want to make sure that overall level stays at 2,000. So make sure that you're checking patreon.com/limitbreakradio, because the thing is that we recognize that some people are going to fall, they adjust their levels. That's one of the nice parts about Patreon, is that if you start your donation level at $50 a month, you can drop that down to $5 whenever you feel like it. If you're going through leaner times at work, you're getting less hours, if a
Nero tears into you in an email,
yeah, right, you just decide that you don't like the show no more, whatever, you get to make the to make the decision. And none of those transactions are charged till the first of the month, and you get to make the decision there. So if you see a drop below $2,000 a month, then just maybe that's your cue to step in and do what you can. Toss another $5 in the hat. If you haven't stepped forward and give to Patreon.com, and you do want to see Final Encountercast hit that weekly mark, then now's the time to do what you can and to throw a couple of bucks in. So, all right, we gotta stop droning on about the Patreon, but seriously, that's a huge milestone, and we did want to recognize the accomplishment that you guys have done. I mean, that's on you guys. We didn't do this. We're celebrating because we get to reap the benefits, but so do you guys. A more regular Final Encounter cast plus better production values all around. That's what you're investing in when you're investing in.
Is he seriously giving a speech right now?
Would you say that they can expect new goals to appear on there soon?
I think they can.
I would think so.
Yeah, we definitely have a new set of goals and a second tier of content that we're prepping. Some of you have already started to engage with it, whether it be Kahlo After Dark or Nate in the Morning.
The late show with Kahlo.
Yeah, right.
It's not called Kahlo After Dark. That sounds scandalous.
Have you seen his show? It might be scandalous.
Yeah, no. I'm dead set on calling it Kahlo After Dark because it bothers him so much.
Well, don't worry, Kahlo. I got your back right now. So I got your back while you're gone.
The Late Show with Kahlo, and also Nate in the Morning, which is soon to be Nate and Blank in the Morning.
Just one of like 24 equally appalling videos on your website.
And not just videos, they're also on our Twitch, twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio, and twitch.tv/Final Encountercast. By the way, tune in Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern to catch a brand new episode of Nate and Blank in the Morning. Let's see who
I like that
fills
name.
in that blank.
I like the
Nate
Krusty
and Blank
Krabs.
sounds
Yeah, his name, the Nate O'Clock Show.
Yeah, the Nate O'Clock
Can you do it
Show.
at 8 a.m.?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay.
No. So
hey guys, it's Nate in the Morning, and it's Nate in the Morning.
Well, that's what I was calling it. I was calling it Nate in the Morning for a minute, but yeah, I do have. We're moving forward in plans to get a co-host in there. So, and I think it's going to go down on this Wednesday. I'm pretty excited about that. So make sure you join us over at twitch.tv/Final Encountercast for that. But, all right, at risk of Thor donating over this piece of production, let's check out what's going on in Final Fantasy XIV news.
This is a Limit Breaking News Update.
And the answer is not much. There's not much going on.
There's super exciting news.
Some job prospects for LBR, possibly.
Well, we do know. I mean, I did talk about that. Close.
It's not possible. They've got too long a stream delay.
No high five for you.
He tried.
You tried. You really. You tried, and he tried to do a fucker right in the pussy. I'll give you credit for the joke attempt, but still a little bit off. You got to work on that timing. You got to know when to expect it, and that's the thing is that
we have to send it through kind of before we even announce it.
Yep.
See, but that's the thing is
that's all you have to
He's
do.
expecting it, and I know he's expecting it, so I'm giving him less and less of a lead up to it. Yeah, you're gonna start seeing some shoehorning of epic proportions.
This is bullshit.
We're gonna be talking about like what we're doing, and I'm gonna go FF14 news, and we're just gonna hit the fucking.
And speaking of what I had for lunch today, here's the news.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck, Thor. Man, I see your game. Good luck. That is game on, my friend.
That is a juxta segue right there, and I am proud of you.
So there's a chance to join the Final Fantasy XIV community team. Have you ever dreamed of being part of Duty Commenced? No.
Duty.
Or helping plan the next fan fest?
Dear God, no.
How about nailing your dick to the fucking desk? No.
Well, yeah, that one.
Does the idea of combing through numerous pieces of feedback to ensure the dev team is kept up to date excite you? Sexually.
Can you imagine it be your job to go on the forums and sift through that garbage?
Oh my God, no. Have you always wanted to plan events, travel, and interact with other players on a face-to-face basis? Well, you won't, because you'll be sitting in a cuticle. Cuticle.
You'll be in Bahamut's cuticle.
Jesus Christ. Holy crap.
It's all bad.
Wow.
You had a background in radio?
I should just hang it up. Holy shit. I should just...
Maybe you should join them.
I should... Yeah, maybe I should.
LBR,
if you can't make this work for you.
Maybe I should. Wow.
I'd rather have sex with a chainsaw.
Holy shit.
Nightmare said.
Ugh, my mushed mouth abilities. Ugh.
I mean, at least that last one's like, well, kind of, yeah, we do want to do that, but would you get to, really?
Well, now's the chance to make your dreams come true, because the community team is looking for a new member to join their ranks.
You think us trashing on this position lowers our chance of getting the job?
No.
Probably. I would imagine. If you feel up to the duty, head over to the careers page and apply. I'm kind of curious to see what the...
oh, God, I got to click this. I got to know what this is.
Yeah, I've read through it. It's interesting. A lot of... Not required, but a plus if you have these skills.
Interesting. Okay, so, all right. This is...
Recommended that you have 10 years experience playing Final Fantasy XIV.
Is that real? Is that...
No, shut up. That's a joke.
I was going to...
Yeah, but it's Square Enix, and it wouldn't have been that surprising.
Yeah.
It does say knowledge of the MMO game genre, and it said... There's something else that said something about 14.
Wait, but it doesn't say you're required to have played FF14?
Well, no, then it says education or experience. It says 1 to 2 years of extensive knowledge and experience with online Square Enix titles or other MMOs.
But not FF14.
Well, it doesn't say it's just FF14. It says it's a Square Enix community relations representative.
So, yeah, so...
I'm going to get on the FF11 CR team. Sweet. It'll be just me in a room with one light bulb that flickers.
09 asking, how much does it pay, though? Probably nothing.
You're commission based.
Yeah,
I would say it has to pay something. He's got to live in Los Angeles.
Your boss is the manager of the online community. That's what it says.
That's what I'm saying. Like nothing for Los Angeles. Yeah. So the requirements include flexibility and willingness to navigate areas of unfamiliarity.
Bush mouth.
Yeah. Well. That's what you're getting today.
Okay, so
that's just... I have no ability. I have no ability. Yeah, ability to speak in front of the public or an audience.
Oh, no. Sorry, Nero. Sorry.
Your dreams are crushed.
Ability to multitask and fast-paced environment.
Jeez.
Effective oral and written communication skills.
I have effective oral skills, thank you.
I'm socially
Are you sure about that?
I am positive. Trust me.
He just spit all over his microphone. That's how you can tell.
Yeah.
Get that lube going on.
A positive and professional attitude, Nero.
Positive.
Okay, that's a problem. All right.
Yeah,
Bit's over.
We might have a problem there.
Do you think they take past podcasting experience into account?
Strong word processing and other computer skills.
Oh, sweet.
I don't know. Has anyone actually read any of my blog posts or tweets? I can't spell for shit, or type, or proofread.
Maybe they can hire all of LBR as one collective entity. Check each other, and
that's never gonna happen.
So we'll earn $1.50 per hour. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
I'll bet you it's like we'll pay your game subscription.
Let's see. Independent worker takes initiative and works well with little supervision. Effective and productive. No. Knowledge of entertainment software industry.
Okay, I got that, yeah.
Knowledge of MMOs,
Sure.
Japanese language skills, and experience with the Japanese corporations.
We have Arthurs on our show all the time. Does that count?
not required, but a plus.
Okay.
I think Arthurs would help us with that.
Experience working with a Japanese corporation. Is Arthur's count as a corporation?
Yeah, Arthur's Incorporated.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
I think every Japanese person
Okay,
is
I
considered
think
a
we
corporation.
can check off every box on that.
No, that's every American citizen is considered. Wait, no, every American corporation is considered a citizen. That's it. So I'm a corporation by way of backwards logic. Essentially, so like, I'm kind of curious. So some of these essential duties and responsibilities.
These are what you're going to be doing for the next few years. So you need to pay attention to this
because this sounds like such a exciting breakneck job.
Prepares reports of activities for review, negotiation, and approval.
Oh boy!
Activities?
You get to create graphics, screenshots, and collect backup data to present new concepts.
Oh.
Present new concepts?
Yes.
Boy, because we know how much input the community team has with the dev team, right?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I came up with a new idea.
Especially the NA community team. Executes ideas for activities designed to increase player enthusiasm and focus on player retention.
Hey, little Johnny community team, new hire. Why don't you come over here and show me that new idea? Look at what I'm doing with your. And I'm look at what I'm doing now. I'm like, oh no.
What?
Oh no. Oh, that's so. Oh no! Look at what happened to that.
That's a shame.
That is a shame.
Executes ideas for activities designed to increase player.
You read
I already read that one. All right. Sorry, they all blend together.
They do.
Works interdepartmentally and via teleconference calls with Japanese office counterparts in order to review and assess the viability of projects and goals. Yeah. Prepares revisions and modifications as discussed and agreed upon. Prepares final presentations for approval by appropriate groups.
Oh, Jesus.
That
I will
sounds
say,
awesome.
though, if somebody in the LB Army does get this position, please. Like, I mean, how many people say that we have great ideas? We could use that connection.
Call us under. If you get the job, call us under a pseudonym and tell us how it actually is.
God knows no one from Square Enix will call us back.
Never.
Especially not after this bit.
But we have there are people in the chat saying they applied anyway. So if one of you gets it, then please keep us in the know.
Good luck with that. All right, the only other.
Don't mention you're an LBR fan.
Yeah,
do not
maybe don't
mention us.
Maybe don't name drop us.
That's day one orientation. Do you know LBR? Oh, you do? I'm sorry. The position's been filled.
Yeah.
But you just hired me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shame about that.
Anyway, the only other bit of news: Starlight's Celebration comic winners have been announced. See if you won, if you entered. That's not important. Some of these comics
you didn't.
Some of them are kind of funny.
No, they're not. Don't even.
You know what? The first three were posted right after each other. It's like number 1, number 2, number 3, right in order. I'm like,
yeah, all three submissions won.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It seems like maybe because I had noticed that too. I did. Maybe a little bit of ladies and gentlemen. They were like
maybe a little bit of 3 submissions were sent in.
They were like, hey, wait a minute, is it January 23rd? Oh wait, we forgot to pick the Christmas comic. Okay, just
okay. Well, let's read some of these. Oh my God.
Dear God.
It's a pretty brutal job sifting through all that darkness.
The one that's number 3 has a grammar error and is bothering me. Why did that win? God damn it. We got to be there.
Are you?
We got to be.
Are you actually?
Not we've got or we have. No, we got.
Are you actually asking this question?
Yeah. Why? Who judges these? Can I be on the team of judging?
Yeah, you got to go up and apply to be a community member. We just talked about it.
That will be your fantastic new role, everyone who applies. You get to judge these fantastically worded and applied contests.
A lot of people are wondering why, though, they're hiring a new community team member. And
did somebody leave?
Yeah, well, I mean, if somebody left, we don't. I mean,
Matt, if it was you, give us a call. Let us know.
Yeah, right. There's no way that we would know. So, I mean, it could be someone could have left. I don't know.
Maybe it's to prepare for FanFest or something. I don't know.
Could be. That's possible. That is possible. I'm not sure if they ever.
Guys, seriously, we have a ton of bitch work for FanFest. We need to hire somebody.
Someone.
Like, have you heard LBR? They have a Scalia. Like, we need one of those. Can we get one of those?
Yeah, except you don't do any work, so I don't know how that would help them.
Oh, no,
Guys, we need a better Scalia.
Colby left for a new job, is what it was. So
we should get Colby to call.
Colby Cheese?
We should get him to call. Be like, hey, you don't work for us anymore. Talk to us.
Oh man, yeah, I don't see that happening. But anyway, so let's. So
I heard 3.2 came out. Oh wait, no, it didn't. Sorry.
No. So we're basically in a holding pattern, waiting until next Saturday for Yoshi P to deliver the next live producer letter. And we'll get a better look at some of the content that we can expect with 3.2. And, last week we had a pretty big discussion. We had a special guest on the show, Joe Never Fails. And we had a very lively discussion. I mean, that topic ran wall to wall. We almost couldn't fit it in this show. And subsequently, we actually didn't have room for calls. We took a few calls on the air.
We tried the best we could.
We did, but there were a lot of people that wanted to call in and sound off on that topic. So we figured we'd give you an opportunity to do that here today. So we had talked about a lot, including Yoshi P's statements on the future of PvP moving into 3.2 and the possibility of a PvP server being introduced into the game. We also talked about raid structure and raid difficulty as it pertains to the way that Alexander Savage is going to be developed moving forward. Yoshi P being pretty clear about about some of the goals for Alexander Midas, and as well as overall gear structure. That was a pretty big topic of discussion.
Yeah.
We had put some suggestions out there for the way that gear might be adjusted. We do know that there are significant adjustments coming to the materia system as of 3.2, and so we'd like to talk to you about that and get your opinion and get your feelings. So if you'd like to call Limit Break Radio, send a Skype message over to the Skype account Limit Break Radio, or dial 810-515-8715 if you don't have access to Skype. You'll be talking to Kooky, who is our brand new call screener. Thank you very much, Kooky, for screening calls for us here today. But you'll be talking to Kooky Persona, who will kind of give you the rundown of how this works on the air, and we'll be happy to take your call.
By the way, if you've been looking to call into Limit Break Radio and just haven't found the nerve to do it or haven't thought you'd get through, here's your week.
Yeah, this is. I mean,
news is slow this week, guys. Call in.
There really isn't a whole lot going on, and we do want to provide you a platform to be able to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Absolutely.
So again, Limit Break Radio on Skype or 810-515-8715.
And now that asshole juxtaposition won't cockblock you from getting on the show. So
that's true too.
He's so excited to not get blamed for that shit anymore.
How did that? By the way, how did that feel last episode? Not having that responsibility.
It felt like a burden was lifted off my shoulders because now I'm not trying to juggle anywhere from 8 to 15 Skype windows, but at the same time, I was always like looking down there, like waiting for I'm like, oh, I gotta be doing something. I'm like, oh wait, I can just show right now.
Yeah, you can.
I can podcast.
Just pay attention. Yes, you can do what we actually ask you to come here and do, which is shocking because I don't think you've ever done that in the entire history of your involvement with this program.
Wait, what do you want me to do?
The thing that we have asked you to do.
What do you ask me to do?
Contribute meaningfully to the program. I know it's a huge request.
I contribute very well-ly.
Welly?
Welly.
You contribute very welly.
I no longer feel bad about my mush mouth syndrome. I really don't. I feel
the grammar Nazi in me is dying.
I feel a whole lot better about myself right now.
I felt Nika's brain break from here.
Thank you. It was very loud. I had to compose myself.
I am sorry your brain has broken.
But I don't think that there is a whole lot of positive sentiment right now out there in the player community about the way that Heaven's Word has unfolded so far.
Well, yeah,
about 3.2 and its direction moving forward, and I really do think that the raid structure is really in trouble. On the last episode, Kahlo had mentioned, actually, Juxta, you had mentioned that at the onset of Heaven's Word, you were really motivated at the time to start raiding and to be involved with Alexander.
Yeah.
And Kahlo had kind of posited that maybe it was the story mode that that killed it, and the fact that story mode came out first.
Mm-hmm.
And you had said that that even now, if they had put out Savage mode first, that it really wouldn't be an incentive enough for you to get involved with with raiding. And do you think that's because they sort of poisoned the well? If they had introduced Savage first, like in this first leg of Alexander, if they had put out Savage first, maybe I think that would have encouraged more people to at least try their hand at Savage than the amount of people that did. And I'm kind of curious if that had been their structure right out of the gate. I understand why now, like in Midas, they wouldn't be able to do it because nobody gives a shit. Everyone knows that normal mode is going to be coming eventually.
So do you mean like if they hadn't told anyone that normal mode was coming? Like if that would have been like a surprise or maybe like an announcement like a month before the patch hit?
Yeah, either that or we knew that it was coming, but we knew that it was coming maybe significantly later, like a patch later or something. Because we knew that we were going to get it one way or another. There was no way that Square Enix wasn't going to try that out. But I think that they really did some serious damage to their raid community by introducing story mode first. And I'm curious if that would have changed your motivation or inspiration to get involved.
I don't think so. The only way it would have changed my motivation is if we had no idea that normal mode was going to come out. Because, like, maybe it's hard to say.
If we knew normal mode was coming a month and a half later, and that was all there was to do for a month and a half, you might.
Maybe.
I don't think so. That's what I was thinking.
I really don't think so either, because like even like a month and a half later, it's like I can just go into normal mode and collect my free story and collect my free bosses. I like what Lizzie Kitten
just said though, is that have Savage be the current content, and then when the next set of Savage is release the old version in normal mode.
They could have
no longer relevant, but then you can clear the normal mode.
Yeah, they could have been. They could have done that. They could have done that. Although, then what content do you funnel people into for this stage of the Relic? I mean, they're really pumping people back into Alex normal. At least that seems to be one way to do it. And that's cool. The whiteboard.
Our whiteboard just took a nosedive.
Our planning whiteboard just
fell.
Yeah,
that's not a good omen.
Someone just said there's a ghost in the studio. CC Decibels, are you a fucking are you a wizard?
What the? Are
How
you
did you
outside
know?
the window?
That's crazy.
We are 4 stories up.
What the fuck? I read that comment like a minute ago, and I was like, what the fuck is Decibels talking about? And then the whiteboard just falls.
Did I just blow your mind?
Yes.
Yeah, a bit.
Kind of.
We're all a little spooked in here.
And with the Twitch delay too, like how is that? You know what? You should be giving tips to Thor on how to donate over the production.
I like Taser's comment, Ghost in the studio.
What the fuck?
That'd have been a sweet movie.
I'm a little creeped out right now.
Well, speaking of creepy, we have a caller on the line, Shinta-san.
Well, wait, hang on. Hang on. Creepy. Yeah,
that's not very nice.
Wow, that was the worst segue. But I don't think that the whiteboard fell in the middle of our thought. Had we finished that thought?
I don't have the thought anymore.
I'm so thrown off my game.
We were talking about what would people do instead of Alex Normal for the relic.
Yeah, right. I mean,
for the relic.
There would be a serious lack of newer player content.
I've only done Alex Savage for like 1 or 2 items.
Yeah.
It's not like the main way to get. I mean, the poetics and law are the.
You mean
biggest
Alex
ways.
Normal?
Yeah. I haven't done you said for funneling them for the new relic. Like
you said Savage.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah.
No, I did not mean to say that.
Hence another fucking problem with this Savage Normal bullshit.
Yeah, that's not what I meant at all.
You just said Savage Normal.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay.
Savage
No,
Normal.
but anyway, like I feel like you saying people are funneling back in that way. I feel like but then again, I'm very casual. I guess the people who are trying to get the relic right away might be spamming that over and over. But for the most part, I think that. I mean, it's not that big of a. There's still so many other ways to do it.
No, what I'm saying is though that your choice of content at that point, when you're trying to structure what you're funneling people into for the relic, becomes really limited.
Void Arc.
Yeah.
Diadem.
Oh God. No. Well, they introduced Diadem at the same time, so it couldn't have been Diadem.
No.
No, they didn't. Diadem was out first.
Yeah, Diadem's been out for like a month.
And there's no reason they couldn't have had the turn-ins from Diadem be a choice, as well as Wolfmark from PvP. Both of those things. But
yeah,
Wolfmarks would be awesome.
Actually, that's
I'd
kind
be
of
into
a good point.
Wolfmarks.
Yeah.
Well, they can't do anything to help encourage PvP.
No, that would be bad.
No, heaven forbid. Heaven forbid.
Heaven's word forbid.
You beat me to it.
Actually, okay, so speaking of PvP, we do have Shinta Sin of Ultros on the line. Shinta, how's it going, man? Welcome to Limit Break Radio.
Hey, what's going on? And the call was actually, it involves kind of Wolf's Marks, but in a way, it's actually something that's completely different. I mean, are you guys familiar with the ranking system, like in League of Legends and other, like MOBAs or
I am.
games
We don't play bad games.
Well,
Scalia plays that.
Well, basically, this kind of an idea wouldn't even affect the people that aren't even into PvE, but are more focused on PvP. And, with something like the Wolf's Den system that's very underutilized, if they had something more along like a ranking system with that, I feel like it can give people something to strive for and a reason to log in. Because if you're trying to continuously rank up, and I'm not talking about the PvP levels in itself, I'm talking about a ranking system where it finds like compatible people to fight against inside an arena-like system and be able to, with a rank, you try to continuously progress and, you have something to be the best at, that you're striving for. So, I mean, it's something that, quite honestly is missing. Like, they just really threw in the Wolf's Den and they threw in some levels just to only get gear, and that was really it. I feel like they could, try to use that system a little bit more for something to give people a reason to actually do PvP and log in and kind of show off their skill and prowess in it.
I think that's a great observation, Shinta, and I'm gonna hold out hope that maybe that's what they're gonna do for Wolf's Den 2, because they do have a chance to really reboot small team PvP and small encounter PvP with the Wolf's Den 2. Yeah. And it sounds like from what they have laid out that they've given it a lot of thought, and it sounds pretty good, and it sounds like at least 2 or even 3 times the development that they gave to any level of PvP content in 2.0. So I think that's encouraging. I think that is going to be really kind of the canary in the coal mine for how PvP is going to progress moving forward. We do know that that they have intention on expanding the large team PvP as well, but they've announced no plans for it. We don't know, outside of just more maps and maybe another game type. There's not much that I think that they can do with the frontline system. So I think going and doubling back on the small team system, the 1v1 matches, and putting some of that functionality in is going to be a big boon for them. And then it's going to be, who knows what they could do with the system beyond that. If they wanted to introduce, who knows, we could get another version of Wolfmarks, like Wolfmarks 2, because apparently we're just putting on the ends of things.
Werewolf marks.
Okay, sure, something stupid like that.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys speak all the time of incentivizing content.
Right.
I mean, what incentive is there right now to do PvP? The unfortunate thing is the only incentive that you really have to do is level up and get an armor piece that's more than likely going to be ugly for your character class anyway.
So the new PvP.
I don't know. Most of the PvP gear.
The new ones are terrible.
The new ones are awful.
Yeah.
The idea of a matchmaking rank system for that is really good, but there's so much work they need to do with PvP as a system in and of itself first. If you're gonna, there's tons of considerations like balancing, how I know they've talked about being able to go in as a party and being matched up with another party of similar build and stuff like that, but there is a lot they need to do in terms of functionality if they're gonna make PvP a ranked thing that they want people to actually care about. Because when you introduce a ranked concept that is based off of how well you do, you are going to get bitching about balance constantly.
That's true. Shinta, did you have any thoughts about the PvP server suggestion that was brought up by the 4Gamer interview? We had a nice big discussion about that last episode. But to me, that seems to be the best way and the most efficient way to progress PvP in FF14, and would bring an entirely new aspect to it as well.
Yes.
Well, the server is a really good idea, and the server, for the most part, I think is a good idea just to naturally gauge how much interest in PvP there is. Because I'll tell you what, if that actually happens, I'm transferring my character over there if it is, and if you have to make a new character, I'm making a new one, and goodbye PvE, Shinta.
See, exactly. That's exactly it, dude. I would totally make a new, and I think that they shouldn't offer character transfers. That you should have to. Everyone should start
fresh for a month or two.
Absolutely, because that's going to make leveling really interesting while everyone's on that same even keel.
Yeah, you don't want a bunch of people who are max level showing up and just wrecking anyone who dares to level a low level job.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
You'll just get PKers like crazy.
Yeah, and I didn't play World of Warcraft for a while, but I was on a PvP server, and I believe some of the zones, if I remember it, and you guys can correct me, I believe a lot of the zones, mainly the low-level zones, were not PvP, but if you went into other zones, then they were. I think they can incorporate that particular type of a format into it to allow new people if they had the interest of transferring over high-level characters.
Right. The low-level areas you had to have your flag up, but neutral areas, you would go to Ganker's Mill, you were going to get your shit wrecked by high levels all day long.
No one's going to get that reference because nobody plays World of Warcraft.
Okay, well, even people who do play World of Warcraft probably don't get that reference.
Taran Mill?
Taran Mill, yeah.
I know that.
But the other good aspect of that is that if you make a PvP server solely for that, and you want to see how many people in it, you pretty much your population is automatically telling you how much of an interest PvP is to the Final Fantasy community, and then from there, they can go forward with other ideas for it. Because let's face it, with the content we're getting now, we're done with it in a month, and we're honestly bored, as is. Something new has to happen.
It's tissue paper content, man. It's very, very thin, and you just chuck it out when you're done with it. And that's unfortunate. WoW sort of reinforced that development method as a good way to develop for MMOs. But the crazy thing is that they put their content on such a long cycle that it's Square Enix putting out content quarterly. It really feels like we should have more of a game than we do. And at the end of the day, I think that's what's most disappointing is that on the WoW side, a lot of players would chew through that content in 6 months and be done with it. And really, when you think about it, it's about the same amount of content, when you put it up side by side, similar, it's comparable.
When you consider time frames and patch lengths and shit like
exactly.
that. Exactly.
Yeah.
And not to mention, like, I'm not sure if it's even a steam hitter for like the devs that just make this content and realize that it's just going to be useless in a few months. I mean, we kind of need something that's more long term. Like, we need to know that there's something coming out and we're going to have a reason to hit this at least for, like a year. And
you bring up a great point there about the devs. Like, we get frustrated at the knowledge that the work we're doing is going to become irrelevant very shortly. I wonder how some of the devs feel about that when they're actually making content. They're like, God, we're going to be doing the same shit next patch.
Or they're designing new armor that they know is going to be
Do you think there's an element of that for SC?
Maybe.
And not to mention, not only do they probably get they feel down that this is going to be useless, but they have to keep doing this. Like, this is a never-ending cycle, and they have to keep pounding away at this content. Like, they have to make something new that is just going to be thrown away, in 6 months, and no one's really going to revisit again.
Look, and I've got to put this to Square Enix, okay? Because if you're entering the MMO market, you're essentially taking shots at WoW. You're basically trying to take shots out of WoW's audience. That's really been the name of the game. The quote-unquote WoW killer. That's what everyone has been looking for the last 10 fucking years who have entered this industry, who have entered this arena at all, okay? And the thing is that, you know what? If you're charting at about the same pace as WoW, that's, like, is that really where you want your content to be next level? Right. You want it to outclass WoW like by a lot.
I don't want to be saying I'm matching wits with a 10-year-old MMO.
and not just that, but I mean, like, 7-week delays and lackluster patches when they do hit. Dude, no wonder when Arthur's called that one week and shared all of those statistics with us, dude, no wonder populations seem to be depressed by half. It's grim.
Yeah.
People are bored and they're checking out in in massive numbers, and alarming numbers.
I'm kind of not worried, but I'm wondering if that's because, like, in 14, like, everything is very rigid and very, like, the samey, and in 11, like, every time, like, add something, it's very new and, like, fresh, and like 11's gameplay, yeah, it was bad, but they, like, made it work by just, like, having, like, oh, in this thing you have to, like, do a whole bunch of different things, and in this one the floors are all random and stuff. Like, they kept on pushing that envelope.
Right.
Yeah, there was something different about all the content.
14, it's just, like, really, really rigid, and they don't really try to change up the formula at all.
No, they haven't. And, and the thing is that they've worked themselves into such a corner that I don't think they'd be able to change up the content until 4.0.
That's the same thing we were talking about at the end of 2.55. Like, this was their chance to change everything up, and they didn't.
Exactly.
And now they're kind of stuck with it again until 4.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Shin-to-Sin. We appreciate it. If you want to call Limit Break Radio, send a Skype message over to Limit Break Radio on Skype or 810-515-8715. Kooky will help you out and get you on the show.
By the way, you guys are still working on your relics, right?
Yeah.
Am I the... Are you...
Yeah,
okay.
I have, 74 tokens.
Am I the only one who's sitting here like, dear God, I'm going to finish this and then just have more shit to do in 3.2 hits? I was thinking the other day, would you find it preferable, say, if you had to put in 3 times as much effort to get your relic, but it would be good until 4.0 hit? Would that be okay with you?
This is exactly what I had proposed on the last show. And just do it with armor, too. Make the grind that much bigger. Make... okay, so you got... hang on. Hang on. If you know, Juxta, I see you. I see you wanting.
He's dying over there.
If I need to use my mute Juxta ability,
I just like how you look like a lunatic because you're like yelling at me and I'm not saying nothing. I mean, I look like I'm going to say something, but everyone else doesn't know that.
No, because there's no cameras. Why would they know? But I'm saying it, so...
Continue your point.
Anyway. So, all right. If you know, and again, I've been on this shit for a couple episodes, but if you know at the end of your expansion that your eye level is going to be I 300, right?
Yeah.
Then at 3.0, there should be a way to start making progress towards getting an i300 set. So there's two ways that you can do it. There's the raid way, and the fair way that I think to make it come out of a raid is to make it a very low RNG drop out of the out of big challenges. I mean, we know that Alex Savage 3 and Savage 4 were big challenges, so make it 5% drop rate out of that, right? And then you also have the other path, which is to build it over time, and that grind is insane, okay? But the thing is that you're building relevant and good gear as it goes along. So the people who decide to wait on starting that grind will be building less relevant gear, right? So if you wait till 3.2 to start building your feet, okay, and you can and as it goes along, it's different slots, right? So if Alex Savage 3 drops feet, Alex Savage 4 drops hands, okay, then everyone would be able to work on hands and feet with this grind out process. So if you, in theory, so like let's say you started in 3.2 as opposed to 3.0 on your feet, then you're making, it starts off at like what, I-200, and then it kind of works up each level. Right. So you have a fully fleshed out, basically what it is you have the entirety of the relic system at the point that you start the expansion. The entirety of it is available for you to complete, boom, right there from the beginning, instead of you get a little bit and then you got a brick wall of time that you got to wait. Right. Get a little bit more and then you got to wait a little bit more time. And you make this, so you've now got two sets of gear that you can get, that are going to sit at I-300, where you can vary up the stats at your very, very end game level gear, right? Like, and you'll have gear at every level along the way too, because you'll be progressing it between 200 and 300.
I was thinking of it a little differently, like in terms of the weapon. I had this idea, like you get your quest for your weapon, and when you get it, it will be an I-300 weapon, all set to go. It'll be fine till the end of the expansion. It's going to take you forever to get it, but you don't get any, like, you don't upgrade the weapon as it goes along. Instead, you're getting, if you want to keep your weapon geared, you get it out of Thornton, you get it out of Midas or Savage or whatever it happened to be. Those are the weapons you get to progress along the way, and you're also working on getting your relic, which will be the end-all be-all. Or if you want to poop sock the shit for 3 times as long as the current relic is to get your I-300 weapon, you can do it that way too. Mm-hmm. I didn't necessarily like the idea of continually upgrading the weapon, because that's what we're at now. Of course, you want to be able to go all the way at one go. But you do want an upgradable weapon. It's just as Asato points out in the chat, it's time gating. Mm-hmm. They're time gating the and granted, because they're directing you to like newer content, right? Like the content that they're going to be directing you towards in the as we're getting towards the end of this relic weapon path is stuff that we don't even have yet, right? Right. Like ostensibly it's probably going to contain Alex Midas normal, right? So it's content that we don't have yet. But there is, at the end of Heaven's Word, there's going to be a ton of stuff, between Alex Savage, Alex Normal, Binding Coil, Crystal Tower, and Void Arc. You've got a ton of content to be able to kind of pick from. And I think like that is enough content to send people back through to be able to work out their weapon right at the release of the expansion instead of having to time gate it, because I hate this time gating shit. I just like the way that it worked when I was doing 2.0 and getting my first relic weapon in the game, is it Gaibolg? Gaibolg was I don't know.
Gaybulge.
Whatever. Yeah, Gaybulge. So when I was getting that, I had to sit there. I could not.
So when you were getting your gay bulge,
right?
Yeah. Tell us about your gay bulge.
Yes, I want to know the origins of your gay bulge.
It was just another Tuesday night in my basement. And, so, God, this is what we're devolved to.
You seriously have no drops for this? I can't believe you. We don't even task you with callers, and you don't have a single drop for this. You failure.
Oh, fine.
But my thinking, don't get it now.
Yeah, now it's too late.
Well, so my thinking is at that point I had to go get like weapons out of the primal fights to get my to get strong enough to be able to do the fights to get the relic weapon at the time.
Right.
And that's kind of the system. I didn't have a relic weapon that I was just upgrading. I had to go get the primal weapons to be strong enough to be able to do the fights for the relic weapon. That makes more sense to me. It makes more sense as if you had to go to get the Thornton weapon to be able to do content while you're grinding your relic weapon.
Yeah, and a lot of people are actually, are complaining that it's just a grind of old content and it's not fun, challenging content. And I think they've pretty much confirmed that they're just going to make it grinds and they're never going to make it hard. So for us, that was fun being, it was a gate on skill or a gate on, the raid, not on time. And I just don't think that they're going to go back to that.
Chat says, Ascalia's gay bulge is the mightiest of thrusting weapons.
But the thing is that they could. Didn't
they say that they weren't though? I thought they had flat out said they're just going to grind everything from here.
Yeah, that's what they said, and the community I think is going, that's a bad idea. I don't want to play that game. I think that's what the community is responding. And so I think that they also said that they're trying new stuff and that they're going to be listening to feedback. Okay, here's some feedback. This sucks. It's the same shit. Come on.
Just the fact that they had created Chimera and Hydra, which were unique raids that are only used for the Relic. I can't see them putting development time into new raids specifically for Relic progress. I just can't see that happening.
No, they don't. They don't even need to do that. But I'm talking.
Well, I know, but I feel like you remember how hard Chimera was when it first came out?
Oh yeah, sure.
The day that I beat it, I think I wiped 18 times first and cleared it on the 19th time. Literally, it was that hard, and that was after days and weeks of already trying that fight.
I think it's conceivable that they may add a few fights like that at some point, but I think that they need to go back and fundamentally reassess. Okay, what is the end goal? Why are people actually doing this, or why are people not doing it? We harp on motivation a lot, but it's something that Square Enix really needs to look at, especially when they're designing, end game content and when designing long-term content like grind heavy stuff. You know what I mean? I guarantee if they gave a fast forward button to get 300, i300 gear, it doesn't matter how much old shit they redirect you to. People are going to do that old shit. And I think that there's a significant amount of the player base that's going, yeah, redirect us back to that old shit. Give me a reason to go do Coil. Yeah. That was fun. And it's even more fun now when we do it unsynced at i210. So give us a reason to do it outside of getting a couple more poetics.
Thor Carson dropping the controversial statement. I might get flamed here, but here goes. The only way to make gear relevant like it was in FF11 is to remove glamour. People don't inspect each other in this game like you used to in 11. Glamour just makes a mockery of all gear. I know it can't be removed because most think glamour's endgame, but it's not.
No. It's fine. Glamour is fine. Glamour is not the problem. I grant you that nobody checks each other anymore, but glamour is not the problem.
I check people to see what glamours they're wearing. If I see something they're wearing that's cool, I'll check them.
I check people to make sure I'm not in a party of noobs, and then I am, and they're all wearing grays, and damn it.
But it's about e-penis. That's really what this is. It's about, knowing that, I've got this crazy 250 piece right now. I've got these 250 legs, and they're going to help me pump out some ridiculous damage. You suddenly become, as a player, you become an asset to your group. You become a spectacle in a duty finder, and you get status walking around with that bonerific piece of gear.
Especially if it does look good.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think those are the most critical things that Square Enix needs to look at and address with their gear progression moving forward. I think that is the biggest short-sighted part of Square Enix's development of 14. All right, let's go to the phone lines now. We've got my waifu from Excalibur. My, welcome to the program.
Oh, hey guys, how's it going?
Thanks for calling in. We appreciate the call. What would you like to talk about today?
So I wanted to get back to PvP a little bit.
Sure.
The last caller brought up an interesting point of why should a bunch of the PvE players bother to do PvP? What's the incentive? I'm part of a I guess you would call it a sub-community that actually focuses on PvP. And my question is, why should the PvP players do PvE at all? Seal Rock is the only thing anybody's doing right now in PvP, and that's been item level 150 since it came out. They haven't mentioned raising the item level cap in 3.2, but if they don't, then what's the point of looking at any of the new content? It's still going to be capped at 150. Plus, I mean, the only reason people raid now that focus on PvP is just to min-max. So why bother doing any of the new con? Even the relics. I mean, why bother busting your ass getting the new relic when you could get the super easy 200 version that's going to be capped anyway?
Well, I think you're identifying a good point, is that participation in PvP really only benefits anyone who plays PvP, just like participation in PvE only further really benefits people who are continuing to invest and play in PvE. And at a certain point, the PvP rewards become useless and meaningless to PvE players, and PvE rewards, because the PvP content is capped, becomes meaningless at I-150. So they do sort of operate in their own separate worlds, and that's why I think that something like a PvP server would really, I think it would reinvigorate PvP, not just for just on that server, but I think if people engaged more with PvP, that they'd have a better understanding of it and have more fun when they participate in it. I think a lot of times I see people participating in it and they're doing it for their tomes, or
they're walking around stealth and not
like
engaging.
Hollow. Exactly. Yes, they're being terrible people, and so. I think if you had a PvP server where that was the focus of play and that there was, overall rules that you had to follow, I think it would make people who pop back onto their PvE characters, maybe look at PvP a little bit more. Although it may serve to empty out PvP in the PvE servers altogether. It may have the exact opposite effect too. So I don't know. I mean, that it's a good point that they operate almost completely independently of each other, and that they really don't serve to benefit each other in any way. Although I think at one point PvP gear was like best in slot for like 2 jobs in like accessory slots, maybe. That was maybe.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. And at level 50, back when it was uncapped and you had morale actually doing something. But now, I mean...
No, I think it means for a PvE, though, right?
Oh, you're talking about min-maxing, then? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that there's 1 or 2 pieces.
Yeah, there's there's probably 1 or 2.
Yeah. But you have to get 47 ranks of PvP just to equip it.
Exactly.
So, I mean, if that's their incentive to get players to grind PvP ranks, then I'm all for it. But if you're going to sit there and do roulette every day until you get rank 50 just for that 1 ring, then yikes.
Well, what do you think about a PvP server? How do you see that changing up the environment?
I love the idea of a PvP server. That's how I started when I was playing World of Warcraft, and I loved the idea of it, but I also agree with your idea that either everybody has to start at level 1 or everybody has to transfer, because it's going to be real rough if there's people who only want to camp lobbies all day.
I think the only way you can do it is to have everyone has to create a fresh character on that server.
And I
don't think you can do it the other way.
I think Square Enix gets more money in the end. People end up playing more. They spend, they keep their sub up. They end up playing more because they're playing between the 2 characters.
I would have a separate PvP character, definitely, just to see it.
And I would play FF14 more. Like I would, part of my time would be on my PvP character, and then hop over to
the leveling experience would just be so drastically different.
Exactly,
with the threat of being ganked always on you, or maybe just like you and a band of like 15s go group up and find another someone from another nation and pounce on them.
Except this game doesn't have open world leveling, though. Like, you just hop into a dungeon and get 3 levels. Like, it's not like, I don't think they're going to be able to PvP in an instance dungeon. So there's really the only threat of dying is from gathering.
Well, I mean,
That was my calm
you went
World of
around doing
Warcraft.
quests throughout in the open world.
Yeah, there is
that's
and
true.
Fate.
You gotta
That's
do your main
true.
storyline quests.
There's quests, there's storyline. There's because the storyline takes you all over the place, man.
Yeah, it
Can you
does.
picture doing a Fate and then suddenly like there's this
feel
horde
like
of another nation comes
Fates,
charging
but I
into your
don't-
Fate?
I feel like Fates wouldn't work that way though, because the way you can't even attack the monsters unless you level sync.
Because Fates are working so well right now.
Kind of.
No,
But I think,
they're not.
I
Nobody's
think
doing them.
I think you could PvP in a Fate as long as they had level synced to your level and then duel you at your level. Because when you're in a Fate, you level sync to the monsters.
I'm just saying that nobody does Fates anyway. So I mean,
I
take
do
Fates out. Just take them
I do Fates to get my achievement every week for the bonus XP for leveling.
Or new Fates on the PvP.
That's kind
server.
of proving the
PvP
point,
Fates.
Nika.
yeah, exactly.
But that still requires me to do 10 to 15 Fates every single week, which I do.
I'm sorry.
Nika, you have to, in order for you to actually participate in Fates, they have to reward you for doing Fates.
Yeah, which they reward
And
with
once you
XP.
have that reward, you don't do Fates.
How about PvP Fates, where it's Gridanian NPCs versus Ul'dan NPCs, and you can join in and fight them?
Oh god, that'd be cool.
How sweet would that be? It's like campaign.
They you know what? If they changed the theme of a lot of the Fates to be different from different nations, like
that would actually make a lot of sense.
The attacking NPCs, that would be really cool. I think that would be really awesome. So okay, I want to run a concept by you guys and just kind of see if you think that it could also be applied in something like the PvP server. There was this great system from back in Ultima Online, where in PvP servers, like you had two instances. You had Trammel, and then you had what was the other one?
Whitaker.
No. Shit. I can't remember the other one. But anyway, so there was basically a PvP version of the world, and then there was a normal version of the world where you couldn't be PvP'd. But anyway, the mechanic that I'm talking about was characters that made the choice to kill another player character suddenly became flagged as criminals and then would not be able to enter things like city zones. They had to use methods outside. There were
like
resources.
rogue cities, though, weren't there?
There were,
or like rogue encampments that you could go to.
Yeah, there were those, and then there were also like player-run communities that you could visit as well.
That's right. I forgot people could build their own freaking like towns effectively in that.
But the thing is that like I remember being fucking terrified anytime I saw a red player, because like
Feluca, by the way, is the name.
Feluca, thank you. And so like you'd have you would be doing something, minding your own business, and then a red character would go uninvisible, and you'd be like, oh fuck, because they always wore something fucking ridiculous, because they knew they were gonna kill you, and they were always generally really awesome at just like fucking taking you down in seconds,
ganking you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I should point out in UO, dying was a problem.
Dying was a problem because
you lose everything.
Yeah, your body was lootable. Like anything you had on you, that person, it was just that you watched them run off with your shit. But
by the way, they didn't even do anything with it. They just dropped it somewhere else. They didn't actually give a shit about your gear
because your gear sucked.
They're like 30 levels higher than you. What the fuck do they care about? Your gear? They just don't want you to have it.
They're not wearing any gear anyway. They're wearing a fucking banana hammock and have a katana, a poison katana. Anyway, but this idea of red player characters are like a morality system where when you engage in PvP or you engage a friendly character and then your character goes red and you're marked a PK character and you become a bit more infamous because of that. I think that was a really cool aspect to Ultima Online, and I'm curious if you guys think that something like that could work in FF14. I mean, I see a lot of problems with, like, it doesn't match up exactly, but something like that, could you see?
I think it'd be a cool thing to expand upon, like where you get like a markdown, like if you like kill someone who's like 20 levels below you, you get something like that. You get a mark that you're like,
oh, that you camp newbies.
Yeah, you're a noob slayer.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
That says I'm an asshole.
Forced title.
I'm also the warrior of light and savior of Eorzea, but I'm also a noob slayer.
Yeah, I don't know if it would work necessarily in the lore, and it also really depends on what you're going for with the server, because if you just have a flat-out PvP server that just encourages people fighting each other, that would be very different, whereas if you have a system where they mark your character for being infamously known for killing people, that kind of expects that the average player isn't going to want to kill people.
Yeah.
I think that what this game is clamoring for is a server where we could just kill each other. And I think that if they made a server where it would mark you, it wouldn't really work, because then like people wouldn't want to kill each other.
Everyone would just be that.
Okay,
there'd be like those 5 people.
Here's what you do to expand on Anira's idea. You keep that mark system, but after you kill someone, you have a little dialogue box that says, "Do you wish to deliver a coup de grace?" And if you do that, they lose that character. That character is dead, and then you get that mark permanently on your character.
Whoa!
You off the character?
That would be brutal.
Because this is the way PvP would work. You attack someone, and then you subdue them. Now you get to take whatever you want from them.
Hey, man, permanent character death is like the latest thing in gaming, so...
You win, so they're helpless. If you want to kill them, you can kill them, but then that's a choice you have to live with, because you can't get rid of that mark.
Anyone can PvP, but you only get the mark if you kill them?
Yeah,
Juxta,
exactly.
on the top 10 list of things that will never happen in a Final Fantasy MMO, that is 1 through 6.
This is not...
Yeah, especially in an MMO like this, where it's like you are the warrior of light, you are the main character. You can't be
This is not Rogue Legacy Final Fantasy, okay?
Plus, I can tell you, if they made that a thing, I would never play on that server. Whereas if that wasn't a thing, I would.
Oh, I so would play on that server.
I would do that.
I would never touch it.
I would.
Stay far away.
That would be so interesting.
Make a server, can't transfer off of it.
Right.
Make it completely secluded and have a little dialogue box that says, "You can get permanently killed in this game. Do you wish to proceed?" If you hit yes, all bets are off.
The comparisons already come out to Diablo 2 Hardcore. And if you had a max level character in Hardcore, that was a status symbol.
Yeah, it was.
Because it was hard to get to max level and be decent.
Was.
And you were terrified to go into a game because, like, I might lag and lose this character, and that'd be the worst thing ever.
Yep.
But it meant something, and tons of people did Hardcore because of that.
But
I just think that would pretty much be a completely different game. You wouldn't have anybody.
No,
nobody would ever make it into the raids.
You're right. I'm just saying, like, there's got to be something with stakes. By the way, thank you, Mai, for the call. We appreciate it. If you want to call Limit Break Radio, send a Skype message to the Skype account Limit Break Radio, or dial 810-515-8715.
Mika, okay, hey, hold on one sec. But that's just the thing. She says that it would be a completely different game. Isn't that what we're all clamoring for? Is a completely different game?
I don't think so. And you're stealing my words now, damn it.
That's what you just said.
Yeah, you're stealing. No, people are clamoring for just a way to have more PvP. They don't want the game to change. They just want more options of things to do. And if you had a PvP server where you could permanently die, like, some people would want their mains to be on that server, but then you'd never get into raiding or any of that kind of stuff. And I feel like in that point, why would they even spend the development time to put the raids onto that server? I feel like that would just be so pointless, because everyone would die at some point before you would even get to endgame. And I think that that's just not, not what this game is.
No, but see, that's just the thing. That would make it perfect, because that's just unique to that server. If they want a different game,
then they should go play a different game. Like, this is 14.
Okay, if you don't like it, if you're too Care Bear, you can just go on a different server.
That's what I'm saying. I would never, ever play that server if you could permanently die.
Okay, well, that's you. Think of how many other people that would, just because they could fuck over hundreds of hours of someone else's time.
Anywhere. Like, especially, like, people were saying, especially because if you are somewhat famous at all, a Nero, okay, everyone would want to stalk him.
I just want to make someone cry and know that I'm responsible.
But the thing is, Nero, is that I feel like with how infamously salty or whatever you are, you would never get past level 5.
True.
People would gangbang you.
Everyone on every show or stream would have to create a pseudonym character.
No, see, that's just it. We would be so popular that we'd have like a little legion of minions following us around.
We would
be the gankers.
We would have a protection unit.
Are you saying we would literally have the LB army?
Yes. Because there'd be only one server.
Yes,
we
that's
would
right.
all congregate
protection in numbers.
I love the idea of on the server, like the Garleans just kind of like standing off to the side and never invading, because like they're just killing themselves. We don't even have to do this.
See,
this is easy.
That's the thing, though, is that you could do a PvP server that basically stays frozen in development, where you don't have to add the whole shitload of content that you do to the PvE side, because everyone's going to be mostly concerned with the PvP aspect of it anyway. So I mean, like, that's your mean, as long as you're supporting and balancing the PvP aspects and maybe adding one thing, two things a patch, you don't have to give it the same amount of development that you're giving the rest of your game. Granted,
this will require a separate team that just focuses on the PvP server.
Good, I like it.
And I don't think they will ever do that.
Okay, well, they should, because PvP by its nature is dynamic. You can't predict what the other person will do like you can with a PvE encounter. PvE encounters scripted, the same every single time. PvP, completely random. If someone is really good and they know how to counteract you, you're going to have to figure out a way to overcome that, otherwise you're going to die.
And the thing is that, you know what, we do have a little bit of say in this because it's our money that they're vacuuming out of our wallets every month. It's our money that's going to fund the development of this game. If this is what your players want, if this is,
how many people want to permanently die in this game?
No, not that. I'm talking PvP server type stuff.
Yeah.
Adding functionality, adding personnel to your crew. Any of those things. Consider how much money this game brings in for Square Enix month over month, and then stop to wonder if your requests are reasonable and if the amount of development time that they've put in the last year is reasonable. I think it's not. Speaking from, a personal point of view, I think it's not. They have not done their due diligence since Heaven's Word. They wrapped up 2.55 and it was great. Everyone was really excited. And then we had that big long break and then another big long break and then a patch that sucked. Okay.
Yeah, it's been rough.
It has not been good. Okay. And see, to me, Square Enix is in a position now where they need to make good on the level that they made good on 1.0. That's kind of where we're at. I'm not expecting a full on Yoshi P to come out and be like, oh, I apologize, I ruined the Final Fantasy brand. And,
we're gonna stop charging subscription fees for 6 months and then relaunch the game.
That was a bit extreme, okay? But what they need to do is they need to give a definitive plan. Yes. Outside of, look, this is what we're doing for 3.2, okay? We need as players, as a player community, and I'm not just sitting here demanding it, I'm saying this is what they need to do to be able to retain subscribers. If they want to be able to keep their profit margin, this is what they need to do to be able to prove to their players that they have a plan to address these problems.
Are you talking a roadmap to 4.0?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree. Look, fucking October is 10 months away, guys. That's the next Fan Fest.
Yeah. You better have some answers by FanFest.
And the thing is I expect FanFest to be all about 4.0.
Oh, it's definitely going to be.
We absolutely need to have a plan of action from what we're going to see between now and the end of Heaven's Word. Because a lot of faith has been lost. I think a lot of faith has been lost here. I can only speak for myself. I've lost a lot of faith.
I have too, but I lost faith before you.
It's not a competition.
I'm just saying that I was first.
It's not a competition.
Juxta lost faith before it was cool.
Hipster faith loser.
Yeah. Hipster Juxta adjusts his glasses.
That's why he calls himself JP now.
Did you also...
Hold on, let me vape.
Did you put the vape back in your neck beard and put that trilby on?
I am forever optimistic, though. I refuse to see a downward spiral because I'm stupid, but I refuse.
You don't see the downward spiral?
I don't see a downward spiral. I just see stagnation. That's what I see.
Yeah, it's sort of not quite a downward spiral as much as the tracks ended at 2.55 and now we're just starting over again.
It's the void.
It's like a monorail. We went down the tracks one way and now we're going back down the tracks the other way. If 4.0 is just another retread of the same fucking tracks, I'm done. I mean, I'm fucking like I'm struggling to stay plugged in right now. I know I'm not the only one.
No, you're not the only one. Have you seen the servers lately?
No, yeah. I mean, when you don't have people who are like even enthusiastically working on their relics anymore, like, dude, that's bad.
Yeah,
that's not good.
Like, so many people are just taking the relic super casually because what's after it?
It's because yeah, exactly. Siren got his the other day, and he comes out to me and he goes, "I have nothing to do in this game anymore."
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Now what?
He like stopped and stared, and he was like, I don't know what to do.
That's again, going back to what I was saying before, like, doesn't it seem like worthwhile if you could start the next leg of that, right? Like if it can,
totally.
You know what I mean? Like if it didn't stop there, and we're not just like waiting for not just 3.2, 3.25. Is the next time that those weapons are going to be touched.
Yeah, which is another reason I'm going so casually, because I know I'll still have it done before the next leg of it. So who cares?
Exactly. So the like if they had a different leg of content that you could grind, and it was just super steep, and then they eased those requirements next patch, isn't that as viable a method of continued progression? And then you'd have some people, that would be able to do that insane grind, and they'd have item level 300 stuff sitting at 3.0, 3.1.
Okay, that's fine and all, but there has to be more to this game besides just grinding the relic, because even looking forward, like, okay, if I grind this relic that's going to be irrelevant for the entire expansion, why? Why?
Now what?
Why?
Yeah,
so it's got to be more than just a super long grind. There has to be a reason for us to keep playing. It has to be more than just do your 4 bosses in the circular room every patch.
Because that is, that is sort of where we're at. I mean, not even Alexander had much for trash packs outside of Alexander 2. And you
really call that trash packs? Was it? I guess.
No,
it's not. It was like 6 groups of mobs, and then you're at the boss. You're like, oh. And even the boss was basically just a bunch of trash packs.
It was more of a loot corridor
and then,
than Final
for
Fantasy
whatever
13.
reason, they get rid of all of the trash for Savage mode.
Do they really?
Yes.
Oh God.
There is no trash in any of the Alex.
It's not even a raid. That's not even a raid at that point. I mean, I think that's
glorified primals.
That's been another
primals. That's what it is.
I think that's been another big complaint, is that the raids don't at all feel like raids. They're not.
Yeah, they don't.
No,
they're just bosses. They're not raids.
Yeah.
The bosses should come at the end of the raid. That would be cool. And then they shouldn't be as weirdly stupid, difficult.
Let's toss it back over to the phone line. We've got Ash.
No, we don't.
No?
Technical difficulties.
Oh, technical difficulties.
Oh God.
Kooky lied to you.
Oh, Kooky. you need to let me know if she let you know. Didn't let me know.
Kooky.
Come on.
Oh,
you're taking so much pleasure in blaming her, aren't you, Juxta? And it being someone else's fault.
A little bit.
Kooky. Oh.
It's only your second day on the job, guys. Give her a break.
Well, this game has serious problems, and I've got some pretty big reservations about the way that it's going to continue progressing.
And if you disagree with us, you should definitely call in and let us know how wrong we are.
Yes, and you can do that by sending a Skype message over to the Skype account Limit Break Radio, or dial the number 810-515-8715 if you're calling in from a landline. We'd love to hear from you. We're taking your calls today, as well as we'll get to your emails and FMFFLs a little bit later on. But if you'd like to give us a call on any of the topics, PvP seems to be a very popular topic today. But if you'd like to give us a call on any of the topics that we talked last time, whether it's the training hall, which not a lot of optimism for the training hall in this room. I can tell you that, or the DPS scarecrows, because at this point it just feels like, why? I understand Kahlo, but I do think that it'll help in some regards, but it seems like a half-assed version of everything that we were asking for when we had talked about this previously. I get it. The devs want to be able to find a way to have things like DPS measurable on PS4 and make it fair between PC and PS4, but it's just not gonna be. It's just not gonna be. Do PS4 players expect that they're gonna get add-ons when an API is eventually introduced for this game? Really? Is that the expectation?
We need to take a step back.
Because I'm pretty sure that publishing on PSN is a little bit more difficult than you think.
Hold the phone.
What?
Do you really think we're going to get the API still? Do you really think
They've been saying that since before 2.0 launched.
Yeah. Let's be realistic here,
It's either they have to put in the API or they can't enforce they can't enforce third-party programs. It's one or the other. It's not going to be both. If they never do put out an API, then every single one of those people who are like, "Oh, you use ACT? You need to be banned." They need to be fucking dragged out in the street and shot immediately. Okay? You can't be a Nazi about it if Square Enix doesn't give you the goddamn tools to be able to solve the problem, and then puts the expectations on your performance anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, they put those expectations on there on the player through Alex Savage, and then gave you no metric to measure your performance.
They gave you Faust.
That doesn't tell you much, though.
You see the look on my face? Do you see the look that I'm giving you right now?
Well, they also, if you do something unsynced, you can see your time cleared now, so you know how much faster your DPS is getting.
Christ.
Oh, no.
No, there needs to be an objective measuring tool in this game to be able to discern player performance. Not just a DPS monitor, but to be able to objectively measure player performance, especially if the player checks are going to be so huge. I mean, because they're monumental. They're basically statistically unachievable at a point till you have a certain level of gear. So, if you're not going to be able to provide players with a way to accurately measure, then you know what? You can't remove the tools by which players have found to measure.
Yeah.
You can't. You're not going to be able to get rid of things like FF logs. You're not going to be able to get rid of things like ACT. We've talked about stuff like the Guild Work app and whether or not that constitutes some kind of ethical conundrum. No, until there's an API. No, sorry. Get off your high horse about using third-party programs until they put in an API. And that's, by the way, that is Square Enix's responsibility. If they want to enforce it, then they've got to be able to support it. Sorry.
Which they are, how long ago did they actually promise that to us?
It was a while ago.
I mean,
the API?
It was a while ago.
Before 2.0, they definitely did.
Yeah, I was like, we're talking.
They've been talking about it for a long time,
much. Yeah. It's been ridiculously late. By the way, is Alexander out yet?
What?
FF11 joke, sorry.
Shut up, you're stupid.
Boo.
All right.
You hear this? This is the sound of no one laughing.
That was terrible.
Yeah, I'm pretty used to it.
Yeah.
All right, so to continue on with Kookie's disappointing performance today, she's bringing in a Skuro from the chat from Sergeant Dennis.
Kookie, unmute yourself. You must answer for these crimes. Kookie, are you there? Kookie, say something.
Wait, what?
What's going on?
Did she put my call on hold? Okay, she
put you on hold?
Yeah, she put me on hold. All right, so we're back now. Are you there? Kookie?
Nope.
Kookie and Skuro?
They're here.
Oh, there you
Sorry.
are. I love that you put Juxta on hold.
Yeah. How dare you?
Kookie.
I'm so sorry.
Kookie, what are you? We gave you explicit instructions to keep the riffraff out of here.
Oh Jesus! It stinks in here.
And you gotta bring Skuro on, really?
He had an idea how to bring people in.
Hey, for the first time ever, Skuro has an idea.
Cook, you don't need to defend yourself. You're doing a great job.
We're just pulling your leg, Kooky. Thank you for your service. We do appreciate it. But I don't know what this is. Skuro, what the fuck? What do you want?
I bet it's something stupid.
So it's not
if you say, I swear to God, if Garlean Space Station comes out of your mouth, I'm gonna nuke the call.
So I got an idea for moon battles now. So the idea that I have is more of kind of like what
fight TIE fighters, guys.
Right?
Go on.
No, it's more like, what I really want to see in this game is like player output actually affecting the grand scale of the game, kind of like how Besieged, Conquest, those things in 11 that really made it feel like you're actually a part of the game and influencing the game, as opposed to just kind of feeling like you're just there. So an idea I had for it was, like areas would become contested, and the idea is to do kind of like you're trying to take over zones through PvP. So you would have fates that kind of build up a little kind of scale, whatever, of being able to start up these initiations of PvP zones, and it'd be kind of like Ballista, where either you're in it and you can actually see the people that are, target and fight the people that are in the PvP fights in those zones. And if you're not, then you'd be able to see those players, but you can't target them or fight with them.
I think this is
and
just
then the
campaign,
idea is
isn't
grand
it?
companies, kind of, yeah. So grand companies would kind of duel it out, and then whoever wins, you accumulate so many points to actually govern that zone. And then if you would govern that zone, you would actually get like discounts from vendors, free warps, free repairs, and also like bonuses to like XP and allied seals.
Well, and
I like it.
It's not bad. The problem is that just like campaign in 11, that once you have your player population move on to other activities as they are want to do,
it completely dies.
It does. It completely
and every
dies.
zone was held by beastmen after that.
Exactly. I mean, look at the problem that fates have right now. You have certain fates that either are tuned way too high, the ones that have like specific rewards,
like the achievement ones.
But there's a difference.
Achievement ones. That's exactly.
There's a difference, though. The problem with that was...
no, but I think it would end up creating the same problem.
I don't know, because in like we talked about campaign, that was still PvE content. It was you versus the Beastman. He's talking about it in a PvP aspect. So the PvP players, they're never going to move on from PvP. That's what they do. They're PvP players.
Okay, so you're
He's talking about doing it against nation versus nation to control zones.
Are you talking about doing this on like on the PvP
so not a PvP server. It'll actually be like an instance, like I said, like with
that's
Ballista.
a way to tie PvP into the
zone.
PvE world.
Oh, okay.
So this way, I mean, if you choose not to participate, it's not a big deal because you're still going to get everything at the rates that they're standard. But if you actually participate and govern a zone, you actually get the discounts, you get the benefits, and it becomes a lot more positive for people that want to be able to control those zones, and brings like that sense of nationalism that honestly is like really lacking in this game.
I agree with that. I'm from Gridania, and I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that I think that is a problem. When we did racial roulette, I think we were trying to throw out some attempts to make the division between the races a little bit more fun and a little bit more clear. But the thing is that those divisions between nations, they don't really exist. No. People don't really get that into it, and that's unfortunate because one of the great things about FF11 was that we had all of this sort of like internal culture to play with.
There was so much pride in your nation.
There was a ton of pride, and I don't know what really helped foster that environment and how you can make that translate to 14, but maybe something like a PvP environment might help with something.
Do you remember the feeling of losing your starter zone outside your city? Like how bitter of a pill that was to swallow? When you saw that Winders took over Ronfor, you're like, oh, I'm going to go level a new job.
Yeah.
This must be
That was fucking embarrassing, honestly.
It was.
Yeah.
Then you're trying to get like 18 other people to go fight in Saruta Baruta with you so you can go take it back. Like, bitches.
Speaking of nationality pride, though, in this game, like I'm looking at my character's character sheet and the profile, and it says, and it actually lists the city-state I started in and then my grand company. And I started in Ul'dah, but I did not join Ul'dah's grand company. So I feel like the fact that they allow you that choice. Like now what would I fight for? Like I was born in Ul'dah, but I'm part of Limsa's grand company. Like how?
Yeah, you just who would I fight for? You're part of your grand company. Like
but I'm from Ul'dah.
Okay, well, there's all kinds of stories where someone's born in one country and then defects to another country.
Sure.
Look at that stupid elf.
I just wonder why they
stupid
still
Darlian.
include the cities that you started as part of your profile. Like what does that affect at all in your character?
Well, I think like what's missing from that is you needed to be able to change your residence. That's what you're able to do. You're able to kind of change where you were from, like you could in 11. I don't know.
But I'm just trying to figure out why it matters anymore.
doesn't.
Like
It's part of your history, Nika.
When you look at the profile of my character, like it says my city state is Ul'dah, and technically this character didn't even start in Ul'dah. It was my 1.0 character. So I'm just trying to figure out like what the relevance is to still having that as part of the game. Like you started here, and that matters.
I feel like they wanted it to matter at some point because when the game came out, they gave you like that birth certificate for your character.
Not just that.
They wanted it to matter.
Not just that, but I also remember space on the lodestone where you could type up a character bio or profile.
That's right.
That you could sort of like create your own history. And that was sort of the thing about FF14 1.0 is that you don't know what your character's origin is. You just end up like on a ship
You're just on
or
a cart traveling
walking
somewhere. And you have the option to say, is this your first time here? Yes or no? And I mean, and if you say no, I mean...
Yeah.
They wanted it to matter where you were from at some point. They wanted that to be a part of the game, and they went away from it probably at 2.0. No, even at 1.0, I don't think it mattered, did it?
By the end of 1.0, I don't think.
Well, because at the beginning, you didn't have Grand Companies. Grand Companies came out later. And like literally the only reason I joined Limsa Grand Company is because Merlewood was the only femro in the game, and I thought she was so cool. So that's why I joined. Like, literally, that's why I joined. And I thought Raban was too hot-headed. So I'm like, you know what? Even though I'm from Ul'dah, I like her a lot better. And so, I mean, I don't know. At the beginning, it did matter, but then I don't know. Like when they let you just choose in the Grand Company.
It's too all over the place. Like, I mean, and I don't know if that was a concession that they had made by bringing characters over from 1.0 to 2.0. I'm sure that they had to make more than a few concessions and considerations when doing that. But it seems like there could be way more done with something like that. Thank you very much for the call, Skuro. We appreciate it. If you'd like to call Limit Break Radio, dial us at 810-515-8715 or send a Skype message to Limit Break Radio. So we have a bit that we've done here on the show for a long time called FMFFL. This is actually a bit going all the way back into our FF11 days, and FMFFL, of course, standing for Fuck My Final Fantasy Life. These are stories of fail that you've experienced in the world of Eorzea, and we invite you to share those stories. You can send those either to hosts@limitbreakradio.com, or you can tweet them with the hashtag FMFFL, and we'll be sure to share them on the show. Since I've got such a stunning case of mushmouth today, Nika, would you like to read our long FMFFL here from Xanther?
Sure. All right. This first one is a one big... Oh, okay. It's almost... All right, here we go. Hi, Nika. Hi, Nero. Hi, Callo. And hi, Juxta. Oh, apparently no hi.
Forgetting somebody?
Sorry.
Jeez.
Callo's not even here. All right, so I'll say hi, Escalia, because Callo's not here.
What? No. Take that back.
I can edit. I'm reading this. I can edit
Xanther did not say hi, Escalia. For the
Callo's
record.
not here, so he doesn't get the hello.
Jeez.
He says, first time emailing in, I believe, and I have been listening since 11, and it was the reason I kept on playing, even after I was stuck leveling my 45 Red Mage Paladin because nobody wanted to play with me.
Why were you sub Paladin? You want to know why people didn't want to play with you?
Yeah.
I got an idea of why.
Maybe that means that they were Red Mage and Paladin level 45.
And they're both at 45 and they couldn't get them any higher than that?
Yes.
Maybe because they make bad decisions and don't level warriors. They
Oh my gosh, mean. I always listened to you guys while I was on the way to my grandma's because by the time the episodes were over, we would have arrived. Anyways, I love all the new content you guys are doing. Keep up the great work. Anyways, here are my 2 FMFFLs.
2?
Well, you only get 1, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can read them fast enough. So a few days ago, I capped on Poetics because I have nothing to spend them on since I thought I couldn't buy items for the new Relic Quest. for some reason. My old main job is 54, but I wanted a new change of pace and really like Astrologian. I thought I had nothing to spend them on because I just hit 50 with my new main job and have only been able to do a few Heavensward MSQs. So in celebration of me hitting my new main job, I decided to ditch all partially thrown together I-45 to I-90 gear to get some I-130 gear from Mordona. I spent around 1,960 poetics to gear myself to 120, and it was only like an hour or so later when I realized I could have bought several items in preparation for being able to start the Relic quest. I could have easily have gotten some gear from dungeons and got a head start on the Relic FMFFL.
Womp womp.
Yep.
Yeah, I did all of that before the Relic came out, and I actually had every gear and every job in 120. But at this point,
yeah, but you weren't spending tomes that could have been used.
Yeah,
that could have been used otherwise. Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah,
he has one more FFFL. He says, so when I was around level 43 Astrologian, I queued into a leveling roulette and was put into Hawk Manor normal. The group had one new person, but that's okay. We started the dungeon, and after a few rooms, I noticed we aren't clearing them as fast as we should, even if there is new people. I then noticed one of the players is a summoner and does not have Garuda or Ifrit out. I asked them if they can summon Garuda. A few minutes go by, and one boss, since I'm healing everyone, I ask again if they can now summon, and I'm using the auto-translate. That doesn't work either, and now it's taking around 30 minutes to get to the first boss because of the incredibly low DPS, and the summoner is not the new person, the Lancer was. I then again ask after a few minutes using auto-translate if they can again summon one. Can you use it, please? This time they finally summon, and it's Carbuncle. I'm like, okay, good. And the next boss fight, the Carbuncle dies, and they do not resummon them, even though I ask again. And then we finally finish the dungeon with 3 minutes left.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. It was painfully obvious that everyone was undergeared and no one died, thank God, thanks to me. But it did not need to take fucking 87 minutes to do Hawk Manor normal without any wipes.
Oh, God. 87 minutes.
With no wipes.
Oh.
Says, I wish you guys all the best. Xanther Sarah of Sargatanis. Shout out to FC Hailstorm. I've seen them recruiting in Party Finder recently. And all the Lalafell League Shout Lalafell Legion. And it is sorry I forgot about you, but hi Escalia.
Xanther, I want to tell you something. I want to give you a little word on how email works. When you notice that you forgot that, you can just scroll up to the top of the email and add it in.
No.
No. That is a purposeful slight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Says you're not.
See, that is how email works. See,
yes.
He meant to do that.
Yes.
Because you're a moron.
Yeah, because you can go back and edit, so that's all his fault.
Well, you know what? He takes Sub Paladin, so I wasn't sure if he had any brains.
Let's.
That's what you use to level. All right. Red
Sub Paladin was
for refresh.
What?
I don't know. Okay, we got. Okay, yeah. Is that the end of that FMFL?
Let's keep going with some of these.
Stream.
We do.
Yeah.
We've had some hashtag FMFFLs get submitted to us on the Twitter. I don't know why did this get copy and pasted twice down here in the outline. I don't know why that is. That's weird. That's weird.
What did?
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's because there's I see they're repeated here.
Oh, you're right. Some of them are.
Yeah, some of them are repeated as we go down.
So don't say them twice. Here we go.
All right. So we'll start off with this one from Chris M. Sarah, trying to farm precision bolts. Who limit breaks oppressor with health at 1% and the 0.5 at 10%? Who? Hashtag FMFFL.
From at Rin21, the diadem. All that time and only one gold chest. Hashtag Fumful.
Ooh, I've been there too. That's a shitty position to be in.
We got one from Fizzy Ferret. I like that name. Finally got our Mog House Glamour, but the hashtag Riviera Garden Table set I made to go underneath the shelter doesn't fit. Fumful.
Oh,
that sucks.
That does suck. From let's see, Patum LB3 clear group tank died. Tank died by Heaven's Heel.
Thornton.
Farm group wiped at Meteor.
That always happens. You join something that says farm group and you die like earlier on than you do in a clear group for some reason.
Very true. Yeah, because everyone's bad joins the farm group thinking, oh, I'll get carried. From Eric Pizzana. That moment you spent so much time camping for the What the Boar fate and realized your inventory was full.
Oh no!
Hashtag fuck my Final Fantasy life.
I feel you're paid on waiting for that fate. That sucks. From Jeremy Rassicott, when you accidentally target the bomb for a death flare in A2S.
Ooh.
FMFFL.
From Giga LTD, evidently I didn't get attuned to the churning mists. Finally got all of the on-map currents, and there was one still missing.
Ouch. Sucky.
Sora Yuki, I bought your Stola's outfit from the Mog Station. Twice. For the same character.
Oh.
Why?
Oh no.
Hashtag Fumful.
Oh, that's brutal.
From Screaming Scarab, I have went into the poorhouse building my relic weapon, and I haven't even hit Zeta yet. Hashtag Fumful.
Well, I've got some
bad news, buddy.
Bad news for you.
Oh.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Ugh, gosh.
We're not going to tell you, though. Fuck you.
From KMFDM Kid 2000, that A3S 1% wipe FMFFL.
Nika, how does that feel?
I haven't gotten that far, but literally it was like a ritual with Coil that if we didn't wipe a Coil at 1%, we weren't going to clear it. So every single turn. So I feel you.
Jeez.
From Nashu Mikote, doing some maps with a friend. Okay, let's read that twice. Doing some maps with a friend, got topsoil as a reward. I literally got dirt and 3 esoterics for my time. FFL.
From Evelyn Evermore, I have the swimsuit armor gear set. I just don't run around in it because I've accidentally fought Titan in it.
Also from Evelyn Evermore, getting raised during S boss fight only to be dropped in poop and die again.
Yeah, that's pretty. No, that happens a lot.
Here's a pro tip: if you don't hit any buttons when you stand up, you'll take 0 damage from everything for like 4 or 5 seconds.
From Eric Paisana, that awkward moment when the dead DPS rolls and wins the minion. Hashtag FMFFL.
As a career Dragoon, I'd like to go ahead and say that happens a lot.
You lose. Actually, they won. That doesn't.
No, everyone else.
Oh, okay.
Everyone else
loses.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Or that time where I was the only person wiped in Shiva and won the pony.
From Ed Cinder, finally broke my trial roulette chain of Chrysalis with Bismarck.
Wow.
That sucks.
What?
That does suck.
J Reasoner 82. Picture says it all. Hashtag Fumful.
All right. Let me.
It's worth 1,000 words, so we should.
Picture?
That is a lot more Twitter
two
characters.
Brontosauruses in Diadem walking along the path. I'm assuming that everybody wiped, and they are now afraid of Jurassic Park.
There it is. That's the picture. Putting it up on stream for everyone to see.
Da 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 da
da. You suck at everything.
That was terrible.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Impromptu LBR sing along.
Best.
To the Jurassic Park
to the song with no lyrics.
Well, that was dumb.
And we're going to wrap it up here from Arlandria Stark from the PSN LBR community, which is a thing. If you have a PlayStation 4, you can
Just
join.
kidding. It's not a thing. We made this all up.
You can join the PlayStation LBR community by searching it, I guess. I don't know. I can't really link it. Figure it out. Fuck you.
There's an LBR community at PSN. Fuck you. Figure it out. We're done.
Frosty Betrayer says in response to that picture, my God, they do move in herds.
That time in Alex when I shafted.
Shafted.
Shatted. I like that even better. When
Yeah, no, that actually works still.
They made a pun. Shafted themselves for not getting the shaft.
I see that. Rolled for third crank instead of my fourth shaft, and left trails of salt all over trails, whatever, of salt for the week.
They are talking way too much about cranking their shaft. I cannot deal with this.
Amazing.
Yeah, right. So there you go. That's hashtag FMFFL. If you'd like to share your stories of Final Fantasy fail and have them read and joked about on the show, then you can submit those at hosts@limitbreakradio.com, as well as tagging any submissions you might have that are under 140 characters on Twitter. So let's go back to the phone lines. We've got Lila Liore, also known as Mr. Jack of Sargentanis. How's it going?
Going all right. Glad to see you're getting a better grasp on my name.
Yeah.
Also known as the person who's sitting in Callow's seat.
I am.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, as long as you're in the big boy's chair, what would you like to talk about today?
Well, I had another idea for new PvP system that they could implement in like an open world.
PvP is a popular topic today.
Would you say it's PV popular?
No, you would say that.
Well,
he doesn't look happy.
Say popular VP.
Juxta, he doesn't look happy. He looks a little tough.
Okay. Is he done? Is
No.
Juxta done?
No, I don't think so. Have you ever known Juxta to be done?
No.
If you guys could see the look on my face right now.
You know, within 48 seconds, he sucked all the fun out of the...
Yeah. Yeah, you did. With
no,
one
you.
line.
You did.
No.
Your stare.
Yeah.
Stare.
Speaking of 1,000 words, Aniro's face says 1,000 words right now, and all of them are "fuck you, Juxta."
Yeah.
All right, go.
Da, 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 da,
Go ahead, Lila.
All right. Well, the idea would be to put in a system that would not require them to build additional servers just for PvP. This is something that you could just implement into all the servers as they are right now, and so everyone could keep the same progress on their characters, not have to transfer anybody, things like that. Regardless of your opinion on Blade and Soul, whether you don't like it or not,
Jesus.
The PvP system that they have set up for open world PvP is pretty interesting. I like it.
How much did they pay you to say that?
No high five for you.
That was really funny, Aniro. I give you props for that one. Very witty.
We're exploring sponsorship opportunities. How much do they pay? Come on.
But yeah, I think it's like around level 3 or 4 that you get to pick which faction you're going to be a part of. And when you pick it, you get the uniform. This uniform basically serves as your method of flagging yourself. You can either wear it or not. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you are wearing it, you are flagged anywhere. But if you are not wearing it, nobody else can attack you. It's basically just that. So, and from the bit that I've played, there are, depending on which server you're on and which channel you're in, there's always a good amount of people wearing it. I always wear it just because I love PvP in that game.
But it just, how does that differ in any way from just a flag that you can toggle? I mean, it seems like it does the exact same thing. You equip a piece of gear that's serving as your toggle. I'm kind of curious, like what does equipping a piece of gear do that a toggle couldn't do?
I want to know what's the point of being able to turn off PvP in an open PvP environment.
For Care Bears.
That's the thing about it.
Go play on the PvE server.
But I'm saying, like, this could be a way to implement it into the servers as they are now without having to go through the rigmarole of having to build additional servers just for the people that solely want to play PvP. I mean, with the servers, some of the servers as populated as they are, as few as they are, that would be a good way. There would be, I think, a healthy amount of people on both sides, people that wanted the PvP and people that didn't.
Yeah, but and again, couldn't you just do the exact same thing with like flagging yourself available for PvP or not?
Well, essentially, yeah, it is a toggle, but it also has an aesthetic approach to it as well, because the uniforms, I mean, I'm sure you've seen some of Blade and Soul. The uniforms do look pretty nice.
Yeah,
and it might also, like, depending on which faction, which city that you're a part of, that could be another way to like express city loyalty if that's what you were into.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. See, now here's the thing. The reason that we keep talking about PvP servers is that this came from Square Enix. Like, this came from a statement from Yoshi P from that 4Gamer interview, where it sounds like they feel it would be better to implement an isolated server to be able to test out ideas and play structure rather than use the entire game environment as a testing ground, and that's what I sort of see happening with a system like that. So you know,
I guess if you're talking about testing, then that wouldn't be a bad idea just for testing purposes specifically. But I'm talking about like if we're going like all the way full implementation.
Well, I think a PvP server is also it's a segregated play environment. So it's not even testing. It is actually adding to the game overall. And it functions separately from the rest of your MMO. So, you know, like the concern, I think, with adding a PvP toggle or a PvP flag or open world PvP to FF14 as it exists right now is that it could have the potential to impact the way that already existing abilities are tuned in PvE environments.
Yeah.
That's usually the biggest problem when you try to bring PvP into an open world setting that also has a big PvE focus. Okay? So the way that you avoid that is by segregating that play environment to one single server. And I think the reason that they say one single server is to gauge player sentiment.
It's one server that could be expanded to more if it's humongously popular.
If it is something that's popular, but I think they're talking about taking a chance on something like that.
And to your point about having it on a separate server in a separate environment, there would be a drastic number of balancing issues they would have to go through to make PvP viable that you wouldn't want in your PvE environment.
Exactly.
So it would need to be somewhere different, and I agree with them on that standpoint.
Yeah, I do too.
I agree that would probably be a good way to bring about balance changes quickly. I don't know, but when it comes to like my opinion versus your opinion, I think we're talking about two different people who see PvP in two different ways. Like back when I played on WoW, you know, my desire to PvP would come about in different moods. Like some nights I'd feel like, all right, I'm ready, let's go fuck shit up. Other nights I feel, I kind of just like want to just, you know, level and just do my own thing. But when you're on a server that has like specific zones that basically did say, if you're in this zone, you have to be toggled, you have to do that kind of stuff, then, you know, that kind of puts me off of wanting to do it. I mean, I would constantly like transfer servers back and forth between PvE and PvP servers and WoW because of my drastic use.
I think that just gives more reason for, you know, at least in my mind, to support the idea that the PvP servers have to. No one should be able to transfer to or from them. You have to create a brand new character.
Yeah.
And then that way, see, there's no reason to create multiple characters in FF14. One character can level all the jobs, level all the class, doesn't fucking matter. You can experience 99.9% of the content in this game as one character. This actually gives me a reason to keep two characters and to actually play both characters and to play them differently because you're playing two in completely separate game environments and game types when you're logged into the PvP server versus when you're logged into the PvE server. So I understand what you're saying, that, you know, there are times when I'm not going to want to be ganked by fucking dickholes, and in those instances I'll log on to the PvE server and I'll go do my dailies, I'll go do my beastman quests, I'll queue for some dungeons. But if I feel like fucking some shit up or you know, ruining somebody's night, I can hop over to the PvP server and go cause some mayhem. You know, that's what I find attractive about the idea of a segregated PvP server from your PvE environment.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see, now that you brought it up that way, that actually does sound pretty appealing to me specifically. I would be all in favor of that now, because I'd probably do the same thing. But at the same time, the fact that this game has been set up in a way that you can go through pretty much 99% of the content with one character, a lot of people are going to be really, you know, used to the fact that all their shit's going to be on one character.
Boo-hoo.
You know, I mean, that's just one.
Sorry. No, everyone starts.
I'm not saying I'm not saying I have a problem with it.
No. Lila, I'm sure that you're not, and I understand that there is gonna be that point of view out there. Suck it. I don't give a shit. Don't play PvP. That's not my fucking problem. Not, like Square Enix does not need to cater every piece of content to the greatest amount of audience. Like that you can introduce content that you think is only going to be successful with one area of your audience or one area of of your play community, and watch it grow like fucking crazy.
Like if people just want to go into some place and just start playing with their minions, have like a little RTS game with them, they have that option to go and do whatever the fuck they want with their minions, So it doesn't have to cater to every single person. If there's a little...
Yeah, you're done. You're done.
I was like, you ever feel like you're being baited, Nero?
I do.
You ever get that weird feeling like someone's just trying to get you to go off?
Yep, sure do. Thanks for the call, Lila. We appreciate it. Again, a lot of calls today on PvP. If you'd like
maybe
to
SC will take notice that maybe people want fucking PvP.
I know, right? There's tons of calls about PvP. If you'd like... Oh, excuse me. If you'd like to talk about PvP or any of the other subjects that we talked about last week, including the... the Hall of Novices, the Training Scarecrow, any of the upcoming Alexander Savage adjustments for Midas. We'd love to hear it. Give us a call at Limit Break Radio on Skype or 810-515-8715. Thank you again for that call, Lila. All right, let's read a couple of emails, and why don't we start with this first one? Escalia, why don't you start us off?
Sure. Hello, LBR folks. This is going to be a long-ish, so I apologize in advance. I suck at brevity. I listened to your latest podcast, and the discussion about training halls brought something to mind which I'd like to share and maybe get your thoughts on. The training halls, as a way to kind of test and prepare players for certain content, reminds me of something they have in the Secret World, particularly where Savage level content is concerned, but it could also be applicable in other ways. In the Secret World, before you can even unlock or queue up for Nightmare level content, basically their version of Savage, you have to defeat the Gatekeeper. There's 3 different versions of the fight, based on which role you intend to play. Each involves multiple phases representing what each role will have to deal with in a typical NM mode encounter. Each phase also involves some kind of one-hit kill mechanic, which would make it right at home in FF14, since SE loves those, which players have to overcome or avoid. If you can't defeat the Gatekeeper, then you're not ready for Nightmare level content and can't unlock or queue up for it, period. Imagine bringing Mott over to FF14 in that capacity, spreading joy and copious amounts of profanity to a whole new generation of FF MMO players. There's tons of videos of the Gatekeeper on YouTube if anyone's interested in checking it out. Anyway, curious what your thoughts would be on something like that in FF14. Thanks and all the best, Shanri from Coral. P.S. You guys should make Joe Never a regular guest host on your show. He's great for it, I think. He's articulate, enthusiastic, and brings a lot of insight to a part of the game that doesn't really get much coverage otherwise. It could maybe help raise awareness and interest in 14's PvP. Just a thought. Well, I would say it may have raised interest in PvP.
Yeah, definitely. Shanri, thank you very much for that email. Let me assure you that we here at Limit Break Radio take our staffing very seriously, and we have our correspondents out there in the field doing their work, and of course we would gladly consider Joe our PvP correspondent. If we ever have any questions, we know that we can count on Joe to clear them up. So just like we have Arthur's
Ethis
and Ethis, and we have Salmon.
He's our head meta correspondent.
No, I'm kidding. But we have a stable of folks that we rely on their expertise when it's called for, and you'll definitely be hearing a lot more of Joe Never on this show, and of course a fan of Joe Nevers, and you should go follow him at twitch.tv/Joe Never Fails. All right, let's take a look at this next email. Nika, why don't you go ahead and take this next one.
Did you want to give your thoughts on Gatekeeper as a concept?
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about it before, the idea of having trials you have to pass before you can do shit.
Think that something like how they have Faust in AS1, I feel like that's very similar.
I feel like the name Gatekeeper is very
Stop gating my content.
Literal. Yeah. It is very
the
literal.
most literal.
Well, they don't have to call it the gate.
Oh, no. But that's what they call it in what? The Secret World? Is that that's
Yeah.
what he was
that's what's
talking
called
about?
there.
Yeah. So, I mean,
We'd like to introduce our new content, the Gate Garter, and
so I mean, you know, should I don't know. I could it work?
You know, I'd be fine with
it
that.
would work for things like making duty finder groups. They're like, if you haven't, you know, I know that you're a bad because you haven't cleared this content yet, but
That's sort of how there's a little bit of that as it exists, but at the same time, like this is what we were talking about with the licensing system that one week that seemed to raise everyone's nettles, and you know, like I don't see much of a difference between this. It's an arbitrary. It's an arbitrary instance that you have to clear, and then you be able to demonstrate, you know, like
prove you're good enough.
Yeah,
I like this just because it's like an attunement thing. Like you have to beat this thing for lore reasons in order to even be able to go in there and be able to queue in there, which alleviates a lot of the problems weeding out the bad people.
Yes.
You know, the game weeds out the bad people for everyone, which I think works really well.
Okay,
now you don't have to say, what'd you get on Gatekeeper 3? It's just, oh, you can queue in here. You beat Gatekeeper 3. Okay, you can move on.
They should name it Zool.
It does, but again, it does seem.
Gatekeeper.
Shut up! That's a keymaster, you dumb fuck.
Clortho's the gatekeeper?
no, that's true. If you join someone in your party and you try to queue up and then it says cannot queue, so and so has not cleared gatekeeper on their job or something, then they just wouldn't let you queue and you'd kick them out.
You would have to be the keymaster.
Yeah, well,
that's the joke, you dumbass.
Zool was the gatekeeper.
It doesn't matter. You just say keymaster. Fuck it. All right, we have another dumbass on the line, by the way.
I triggered Juxta. That's
yeah,
because
you're bad at jokes.
Gordo, welcome to Limit Break Radio. How you doing?
I am the gatekeeper. You're the keymaster.
Welcome to the show, Gordo. How you doing, man?
What? Man, I'm doing. How's it going?
Yeah, not bad. We're doing pretty good.
I'm a tad miffed at the moment.
Well, what?
Why is that?
Why?
Well,
what are you mad about?
I've been miffed for like the last month because of something that y'all read in an email about a month ago. About the whole making money thing.
Yeah.
And to the dick nose that was like, you should undercut people. Fuck you. Fuck them. Fuck everyone who's ever undercut anyone. Because I'm a gatherer and a crafter. And guess what? That shit fucks with my bottom line.
Lick my balls.
My bottom line, fuck you.
So let me get this straight, okay? So you spend time to go out and farm these things up and then go and sell them, and you're mad about someone who gets it in they get their retainer to bring it back for them, and then they just put it up at like 2 or 7K under you.
Yeah,
that's me. That's
yeah,
totally me.
Fuck you, kill yourself.
Guess what? It sells a lot faster when we undercut by 5,000 gills.
It sure does.
So we're gonna do that every single time.
It sure does.
That's fucking stupid. The economy already is non-existent as it is. Now for the people who actually go and do this shit to make money in the game, y'all want to go and fucking undercut them? Fuck you.
We come from a different world, man. We came from a world where undercutting was necessary.
Hey, everyone, you know what? Look, everyone's got their price. Everyone's got their price, okay?
Yeah, if I didn't do any work for that item, I don't value it so highly.
Exactly. What you think I'm going to be? What am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to be putting things up at competitive rates? Is that what?
5K is very competitive.
Honestly, I do.
I've one gil less than what if you want to sell.
It depends on the item. It depends on the item that you're selling. If there are some things that sell really fast, and I see a bunch of stuff up for 2K, and someone has one up for 1.8, I'm still gonna put mine up for 2K because I know that 1.8 will sell, and they'll go right into the 2.8.
Okay.
I don't undercut in that sense.
You know what I really like doing? You know what I love doing? I love finding an item that's at about 60, 70, maybe even 80K, and putting it up for 15K because
shit, yeah,
because then because then from forever on, anyone who looks at the transaction history, it doesn't look so much like I'm an idiot. It looks like, oh well, that's the appropriate price for it, and then there's 20K that's boom, knocked off the price of that item.
Exactly.
For the next 6-7 weeks. I love doing that.
Fuck you.
Love doing that.
I hate people like you, and I hate you so very much.
I've seen the people who go on and they'll put up a bunch of items for sale at way lower cost than it should be, and then they'll go on another character and buy them all at that price to reset the price to that point.
Hey, Gordor, I got a question. What would you rather have people do?
If you're gonna...
Oh, looks like we lost that call.
Oh,
that's too bad. Jeez. Kooky, why would you do that?
Technical failures
Holy
again.
God.
It makes sense.
Oh,
goodness.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, these things happen. I mean, LBR curse and all that.
I know. Kooky, you should drop that call so that we can yell at you some more.
The chat's going crazy.
Oh, Goldar, you're my favorite. If you want to call Limit Break Radio so that we can hang up on you too,
take a walk on the wild side.
Yeah, if you think you got the balls to hang with us, send a Skype message over to Limit Break Radio or 810-515-8715. So there's a little message from your pal Gordo. Don't undercut people, but I think that message.
Go ahead and do it.
I think that message was a bit undercut itself.
Yeah, I think I'm going to undercut people by more now.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think that's a good idea.
All right, good.
I think that's a good idea.
All right, next email?
Yes, next email.
Next email. All right, next email says, Hiya, LBR. Since this is my first email to y'all, I wanted to say the show is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
First learned about LBR when y'all were guests on Mr. Happy State of the Realm, which seems like ages ago, even though it really hasn't been. Either way,
it was kind of a long
month at least.
At this point, it feels like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, I've really fallen in love with the show because it keeps me up to date with 14 even when I'm not around to play. Shitty college life dorm Wi-Fi is shitty. Yet, I should probably get on with what I wanted to talk about, so I'll do my best to be concise so it's not a 3-year-long email. All right, last week, y'all were talking the new instance training dummies and how they're going to help train people. As a person who was new to MMOs when I picked up FF14, it's my first real MMO and my first Final Fantasy game. Wow. I am thrilled that this is going to finally be a thing. I remember doing some of the guild tests as I leveled Black Mage, and I wasn't fond of them because I felt as if I wasn't learning anything. If it wasn't for being in an FC that is mostly comprised of badass Black Mages, I doubt I'd be where I am now. I'll even admit that even now I'm not the best at my rotation, but I'm working on it because I intend on getting good and hopefully one day raiding with my free company. I wish there was something more like these dummies when I first started playing the game because I feel like I would have used more of my skills as I leveled besides the basic standard rotation. Count me in for using this as much as possible while doing dungeons for tomes or whatever we end up grinding next. I'm not afraid to say that I am a level 60 Black Mage that probably got carried quite a bit, especially starting the game a few months before Heavensward dropped, but is willing to learn so I can slaughter anything in my path. I'm sure not the only person at level 60 who wants to improve before diving into the raid scene. Very good points there. This is why this is something that is useful, I think. Goes on to say, I also wanted to say something about the hypothetical PvP server. I think that is the coolest idea ever, and I've never had any interest in PvP at any point. I honestly think it would be really cool to see groups of players battle it out, creating a more cohesive community if placed on the global scale. I honestly picture it like Survivor, but no voting people off the island, just kill their entire free company. It would be super fun to simply watch. Let's hope the devs make it a reality. Well, keep up the great work. Y'all are great. Much love from a sassy Black Mage, Mina Lafell of Ultras.
Yeah, that actually brings up a really interesting point about a PvP server. Imagine not only like your rivalries with other nations, imagine when free companies start developing rivalries with each other and just start dicking each other over on a regular basis. I cannot wait to see that shit.
Absolutely.
Holla, get dollar.
Thanks, Dirty Randy. Appreciate that.
What did that say?
Holla, holla, get dollar.
Holla, holla, get that. Yeah.
All right, I like it.
All right, fair enough.
There was also a PS. They said, I'm really happy to be part of this community, even though I'm usually pretty silent. Everyone seems super cool and funny. Shout out to all the LB Army ladies as well. For some reason, a lot of people I've encountered don't think us ladies play MMOs, but I guess we'll just take them down if that PvP server comes to fruition.
Dude, we have a lot of ladies in the LB Army. The LB Army particularly has a ton of female listeners.
In fact, spoilers, our next caller will be a lady.
Dun, 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 dun. It's Taser Smurf of Midgar Somer, who seems to put in calls every time Kahlo's not here. I wonder what that's about. I've noticed this. It's
an interesting trend.
Is this a purposeful trend, Taser?
Kinda.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. All right, Taser Smurf, thank you for giving us a call here on Limit Break Radio. What would you like to talk about?
I have an FFML.
Oh, okay.
That happened yesterday.
All right, let's hear it.
Very recent.
My husband upgraded my PS4 hard drive.
Uh-huh.
And then all of my 14 stuff could not be saved.
Oh, no.
So I had to redo everything. All my gear sets, all my crossbars. And then to top it off, it was, let's give Taser all the bats.
Ooh.
And stuff.
Hashtag Funful.
That is definitely an FMFFL.
Have you filed the divorce papers yet?
I did. I'll be honest. I did. You know, like, it's not exactly the same thing, but you know, I play on PC, and I've been playing more and more both on my PS4 and on my Vita using remote play, and getting used to the control scheme is really interesting. But the thing is that there's no way to export your data and your presets from PC to PlayStation 4, so right. you basically have to go through the process of redoing every gear set. You have to update gear sets too when you go between platforms. You got to redo all of your hotbars, and of course your hotbars are going to be way different using a controller. But man, I feel for you, Taser. That is rough. That is rough. Did he at least put an SSD drive in it? Like, please at least tell me that was the goal. Is that he was putting a faster drive in there?
No, just more memory.
Oh.
So Malcuthera brings up a great point. Have we ever actually seen Taser and Callow in the same time?
No.
Have they ever been around at the same time? Taser, are you Callow?
In the chat.
Yeah, you could do that. You could dual box that.
Yeah, exactly.
Taser, are you Callow?
Exactly.
No.
Is this Callow?
I mean, on LBR, no. But in his stream, yes. I even called him during the bet, so...
Did any of us witness that? Sounds pretty. Sounds like a likely excuse.
I think we're gonna have to fact check this.
Yeah. All right.
Guys,
we need you to stay.
I believe you, Taser, as ladies stick together.
We need you to stay on the line. We're gonna call Callow right now and see if he picks up.
Citation.
Well, he's at work. He isn't going to pick up.
Oh, that's a nice excuse, isn't it?
Wow.
You know what? He said he's going to have to work once a month. I'll bet you that's the episode Taser calls in.
Look at that.
Wow.
Malcuthera says you're under Callow suspicion.
Taser, thank you.
Yes, thank you for the call, Taser, and for sharing your FMFFL. If you'd like to share stories of fail or any stories that you have at all, give us a call, Limit Break Radio on Skype or 810-515-8715. And also thank you for the email, Mina LaFell. That's very awesome of you. Was there a question in there? Oh no, they were just talking about the training mode.
And how it is viable.
It is viable, but we just don't know enough about it to be able to pin any kind of hope on it. Right. And from what they have described, it seems like not the direction that kind of feature needs to be.
Yeah, and they also talk about how just worthless guild hests were. Like, all right, here's a lesson from this guild hest. Don't stand in the shit. Oh, okay. I learned that from getting to level 5.
It's not. Look, I can even see where I might even use a feature like that, because I said this on the last show. I'm not a good healer. If I wanted to be a better healer, or if I wanted to feel more confident, then I get a nice pair of support hose and just get in right in. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, like
but no. But if you want to feel.
Well, Scully was saying, you learn at level 5 not to stand in the shit. Right, but did you learn as a black mage that has to keep up Enochian and all the rotation to not drop Fire 4 while dodging the shit at level 5? No, you didn't. And that is something I think that is totally useful for a training dummy.
No, fuck you. Just go in a fucking dungeon. That's what those are there for.
I'm just saying that guild hests were pointless.
No. You can't say that's what dungeons are for, because how many times do we get in dungeons and say, fuck, this black mage doesn't know their rotation. Fuck, this is taking 87 minutes to clear a Hawkman or normal.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit where I don't want to bring the rest of my party down, so I'm going to do a training mode by myself.
Yeah, okay. but hang on. if that person is queuing for a dungeon at that skill level, no training mode is going to help them because they're not going to use it anyway. Okay, let's just be honest about that. The second part of that is that, you know, like, this is for players who already are ostensibly good at the game and want to become better at an area that they don't know as well. That's what I see the value of a feature like this coming. I don't really see a whole lot of value for newer players because Juxt is right. The dungeon does absolutely give you that experience, and it explicitly tells you what it wants from the player. I mean, most of the moves are telegraphed on the ground. Stay out of the shit. You know, like if there's a status that you need to cure as a healer, if you know what to be looking for as a healer, then it's pretty self-explanatory. And the dungeons give you a slow work up to more advanced mechanics. That is a natural progression. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, new players taking a new job through, yeah, they'll probably get that experience and they'll be able to learn that first job. But me, as you know, taking my second job through, going through either on Fates or just doing it, you know,
through Vanu daily quests,
Vanu daily quests, or you know, just using it as a way to not waste the XP for challenge logs like I did, getting my white mage up to 50. You don't really get the best sense of that job, and so a feature like this would be way better for players along those lines who have been hitting that fast forward button, or at least haven't been wasting the XP that exists for them. And so, you know, like, it is viable in some senses depending on how they implement it. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of, because like I said, the stuff that they've already outlined does not seem like the direction that it should be going. It seems more geared towards newer players as like a Guildhest Part 2.
And did they ever even say if it's going to be like up at like Heaven's Word level? Because the way I heard of it,
they did not.
And the way I pictured it, it's going to be right before Sastasha.
They said that's when it's going to start.
You can access it, but it doesn't mean that it's the only level that'll be available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, honestly, I would like what I was saying is like Skuro asked, do you think they're actually going to teach you how to do all those rotations? No, I don't think they're going to teach me the rotation. But if they allow me to fight an enemy on Black Mage at 60 while dodging AoEs just so I can practice without bringing a party down, that's good enough for me. Because I honestly quit Black Mage because I bring parties down because my DPS is shit now. So I would love a practice mode like that.
I think the better question here is that will we get a tool to be able to measure performance so that we can tell whether or not our performance has gotten better? Because, I don't need a system that lays out exactly how to do my rotation. But if I have a system that can provide me the feedback that I need to improve my rotation, that's a tool that I can use. There's a difference between the two, I think. So, all right.
We have another girl caller on the line.
Let's go back to the phone lines.
Or not Melky, just Malkyria.
Malkyria Delenfer from Sargentanis. How's it going, Malkyria?
It's cold, it's shit, and fuck this snowstorm.
Yeah,
honestly.
Well,
I'm feeling you. I'm snowed in.
So you've got an FMFFL to share with us.
I actually have two, and I feel like Nika would relate to one of them. Back when I was farming for ponies, for the Kirin, I set up a Titan party because that was the last pony that I needed, and everyone in my party got one except for me. And we disbanded immediately after that, and I'm like, all right, okay, yeah, that's fine. I would have been totally fine with it if it wasn't for the fact that the last person to roll on the pony beat me by one.
Oh.
They beat me by one.
It does seem like a kick in the balls, doesn't it?
There's the fun
I was like, All right, I'm a 98. I couldn't possibly. No one could possibly get a 99.
Oh, it
Someone
was also a
fucking got the
98 to a 99.
Oh.
Yes, it
That's worse
pissed
than
me
mine.
off.
Oh gosh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
I
is-
mean, I had a Leviathan party the other day where I rolled a 97 and lost to a 98.
Wow.
And it's my fault is that I said into the link shell. I was like into LBR link shell. I was like, guys, I just rolled a 97, and like 3 people are like, "Grats, Nika," and then someone rolled a 98.
Yeah, you set yourself up for pain on that one.
I'm happy about that.
At least I did end up getting that pony, but not that day.
Oh man. All right, Melkyria, what's your other FMFFL?
The other FMFFL was do you remember how expensive the Fat Cat was?
Yeah.
Before Heaven's Word.
Sure, yeah.
Like 2 mil and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like okay, so I saved up for the Fat Cat, and I basically said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna pull in all my money and buy the Fat Cat because I want it. I want my fucking Fat Cat.
Yeah.
Fucking Heaven's Word patch goes through. It goes down to 200k, and I was like, I hate you guys. I hate you so fucking much.
Okay, well, at least you didn't buy it and then it dropped in price, right? Did I hear you?
Oh
right?
no, it did. It
Oh.
did.
No, did you
I
buy it?
like-
You did buy it first?
I did buy it first. I bought it for 2 mil.
Oh,
and then
okay.
Heaven's Word came out, and I checked it again to so I could see how much the price was because I was going to get one for my friend. It dropped down to like 200k, and I'm like,
Yeah.
how did this happen? How? What's like?
Okay,
in what sense? How does this make sense? How did it drop this fucking low?
They had changed the drop rules for that, didn't they? Like,
Yeah, I think they increased the drop rate, but
Yeah, I
that's
think
fine. I
they
mean,
did.
you can just go to your benefactor and say, "Hey, I'm down 2 mil. Could I have a couple mil?" And they'll just give you a couple mil. That's no
There
problem.
you go. Well, thanks for the call, Melkyria. We appreciate it. And shout out to you, Melkyria.
Yeah, shout out to
And
them.
shout out.
Piss on it.
Let's.
I do. It's just I want to ride that the coat does there for a second and just give a shout out to people who are nice in this game because I did have a Ramu party the other day for the pony. There was 6 of us, and we actually stayed until all 6 of us had the pony. And I've never ever had a pony party that's done that before. This
Yeah, if I
party
get my
was
pony,
like
I'd be out.
This was like a 3 or 4 hour party.
Can I just?
Literally, I just wanted to say thank you to those nice people who actually stayed for every single person to get the pony.
I'm going to kind of go the other way with it. Fuck you, nice people.
Why?
Fuck you, nice people. Because you make this game too easy.
Oh my god. The 4 hour pony party was easy in the first place.
You make this game far too easy for dumb ass people. Fuck you, nice people.
Get out of here.
There needs to be more. No, genuinely. I think that there has been a failure on the community's part to properly apply peer pressure in Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh my god!
Because here's the thing. All right. Here's the thing. If you
can't even get through this without smiling.
if you remember back in FF11, okay,
Yeah.
if you cleared COP after the nerfs,
sure,
that was a mark of shame.
Oh God, you're such an asshole.
That was
which nerfs?
It was a mark of
when COP like they took off the level restriction.
Exactly.
Exactly. On the auction house.
Do you remember when they had announced that change and everyone was like, "Oh fuck, I gotta beat COPs before they nerf it.
Gotta rush to get it."
No one will ever respect me again." That never has ever happened in the history of 14. I have never been concerned about what anyone thinks of my performance, my gear. It doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. You took all the rough edges off of an MMO. And see, this is why I say fuck you. When the game makes it so that you don't have as many options to be a dick, being nice is like the easy thing.
Oh my god.
Being nice, there's no challenge to being nice. Think of how much.
Clearly for you there is.
Think of how much time and effort, Juxta, we have put into figuring out how to troll people in specific dungeons. Okay, they never.
Whoa! Stop!
They never read 500.
Stop!
I mean, it goes.
You do not get to share credit in the trolling aspect of Nero.
Hey,
give me 2 good examples of you trolling.
What was the Crystal Tower game that we used to play?
Crystal Tower Mark Roulette?
Chicken.
Oh, chicken.
No, Crystal Tower chicken.
Okay.
Ancient Flare chicken. That's what it was.
Ancient Flare chicken.
Ancient Flare chicken.
Okay.
That was I definitely started that one.
Yep, that's fine. Okay, I'll give you one.
What's another one?
I came up with Crystal Tower Mark Roulette.
But that if you don't have someone to play against, that's not fun.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? Just sort of. I mean,
But there was always someone who tried to fix it. There always was.
There always was.
That's true. That's true.
We can't even do that anymore. When do we make marks in Void Arc?
Oh, never.
The
room.
No, I beg to differ. I did my Void Arc this week.
All right, next.
At the Knots, everybody had A, B, and C in one platform, and nobody knew where to go, and we wiped because everyone was running around like idiots.
It's just the easy. It
was horrible.
It's the easy thing to be nice. It's the easy thing to be nice, and it's boring.
Do you have a second troll thing?
And it's boring.
I don't think you do.
Game? I can't think of one. I'm struggling to think of one.
He didn't say a game. He just said a second time that you trolled and that doesn't get credited to Juxta.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to think of games.
You don't have to make it up, but you have to something that you actively troll contribute in.
So I'm pretty sure when you guys trolled me in Brave Flags, that was Callow's idea.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm struggling. You're putting me on the spot. I'm struggling to think of the second one.
That's why you can go ahead and dwell on it for a little bit. I'll give you
because he knows you're never going to get there.
But anyway, stop being nice, people.
You went from pony farming to Chains of Promathia missions. You covered the spectrum, man.
I'm just saying it's too easy. There's no mark of shame in this game. No one can. We can track people's achievements and when they clear those achievements never before, and yet we never hold anyone to them. And it's kind of a bummer. It's kind of a bummer that there really is no peer pressure in this game. There just isn't. Oh, hey, you don't do Savage. Yep, I don't do Savage. Fuck you. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you not do Thoradin? No, I haven't. Fuck you. It doesn't matter. There's nothing. I mean, and I don't think that this is age. I think that this comes down to community. It's something with the community. That people don't give a shit about standards. Right?
I'm trying to think.
It's tough.
I'm racking my brain.
I'm really trying to figure out what is something. What is even people who didn't have Zetas going into Heavensward, no one gave a shit about them.
People who are over level 50 without a job crystal.
No, that's just impressive.
Yeah, it is.
You're how are you?
People level only one job.
You look at those people how are you a functioning adult? How are you? How do you play this? How do you actually play this game?
Did Callow get blood for blood? Is that all set?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was one. That was a mark of shame.
Not really. Just because he's
you know what Callow's refusal to get blood for blood was? It was like those assholes that refused to level Ninja as a sub job. That's he was doing the same exact shit. It's not a mark of shame. It's just it's a stubborn
bad people.
I think that
players.
I mean,
good contribution. I really like that point you made.
Honestly,
I got nothing.
outside of the Get Good application, which that really comes from our community. That comes from the LB Army. The LB Army, by the way, is exempt in this. You guys know how to apply peer pressure very well, and I encourage you to keep doing that. But honestly, there's really nothing that it's oh man, I need to get that done or else.
They're all going to laugh at me?
Exactly. There's nothing like that. Nothing. That kind of bums me out, man. All right, let's take this next email. This one comes to us from Reinhardt.
Reinhardt Christensen.
Says, greetings, everyone. After several weeks of hearing how old raids are just gathering dust, I thought of something that can maybe address this. They should create 6 new types of materia: Allagan, High Allagan, Dreadworm, Ancient, Circus, and Darkness. How special would they be? Well, first of all, you could obtain them by spirit bonding and converting the gear from the corresponding raid. For additional flavor, you could increase the spirit bonding rate of said gear when used in the corresponding raid, and only when synced. And second, they could have several stats at the same time. For example, strength/crit materia, or an int/spell speed, with the secondary stats being randomized, only the stat, not the value. This way, you could go back to those raids without over-gearing/face rolling everything. It would force people to finally learn some mechanics, and with a permanent purpose, either to obtain the materials you want or just to sell those that you don't want. And if one day they decide to create a really unique materia, they could just put some of them here too. Thank you for all your time and for the wonderful job. That's Reinhardt Christensen. That's an interesting
concept.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I mean, what do you think about a dual aspected materia?
I kind of like the idea of I like that idea. I like the idea of spirit bonding the gear that you get out of there. Like, you'd actually have to wear it.
Yeah.
I feel like they should just, I mean, I don't think they necessarily need to create new types of materia, but the fact that you can't convert any of this dungeon gear into materia as it stands is stupid. Like, I have so much gear from tomes and raids and dungeons and shit that you can't convert, and it just pisses me off, because then I either have to turn it in for sealed, which I'm already maxed, or I just throw it away. Like, what a waste. So they should at least let us convert that materia, if nothing else. But.
Yeah, no, I wonder. I have to wonder with the changes with the upcoming changes in materia, if they're going to re-examine whether or not the certain gear sets that are not spirit bind, that are not convertible will stay that way.
You have a spirit bond number. Like, you can 100% spirit bond them, and it will announce it to you when you get it, but you can't do anything with it. So it's like, what's the point?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think some. I mean, why would they make those non-convertible in the first place? That's my. Is it so that it only has a single value that you're turning it back in for Grand Company seals? Because that seems really stupid.
Yeah, it is dumb, because it's up now. It still has value, so you might as well make it more valuable. You know, like, I don't get it's.
I've come to the fact where, like, I have so many seals at this point that I have actually started throwing away gear because I just have nothing else to do with it. I'm like, this is really, really a waste.
Seriously, even if I buy gear and the spirit bonding is at like 54% by the time I take it off, I just throw it out. I don't do anything with it. I just drop it.
Yeah.
Sell it to the vendor for like 200 gil.
Yeah, he just drops it.
No. Yeah. It's just easier to drop it.
But the money.
And then it just doesn't clutter up my goddamn inventory. So I mean, yeah, I think that those are some pretty good suggestions, and I'm definitely anxious to see what kind of adjustments they end up making to materia. I think that's going to be a pretty big indication of where the direction that this game is headed in the future in terms of gear progression, and that is a huge part of any MMO. I mean, you're talking about the main reason that people continue to play month over month. It's not about experiencing the new content. It's about the shinies at the end. I mean, let's be fair. It's really actually about both.
And how the shinies look.
That too.
That's possibly more important.
Yeah. So thank you very much for that email, Reinhardt. From Ragnarok. If you want to email Limit Break Radio, hosts@limitbreakradio.com is how that gets done. If you'd like to give us a call, we're probably going to take like one more caller here. Send a Skype message over to Limit Break Radio or call 810-515-8715 before we wrap up the program. So Juxta, how about you take this next email from Papa Woody?
Hey, LBR crew, long-time listener, first-time emailer. I tried to call in on episode 47, but I had mic issues, and when I tried to connect, I hit my power cord and lost my chance. Fuck my life. I will keep this short with an idea that deals with the Warriors of Darkness and PvP. What do you guys think about a PvP fight that pits the Warriors of Light versus the Warriors of Darkness? Now, this would be an 8v8 fight, and it wouldn't matter what side you're on. You would always see what side you're on. You would always see the Warriors of Darkness.
So the enemy team would always be represented as the Warriors of Darkness.
Okay,
this is Papa Woody Hyperion, number 69 in the LB Army.
That seems oddly appropriate, Papa Woody.
Sure is.
Yeah, I that's an interesting idea. I think that's a pretty good way to tie that in with the lore.
Yeah.
Although the potential problem that I see there is that now you're locked into the Warriors of Darkness being involved in that PvP.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is almost already like the Wolves Den is. When you fight in the Wolves Den, it just says Black Mage, White Mage above their name. So it's not that much different than what we already have.
Which is kind of dumb because if you emote at the person, it'll say their real name.
Does it really?
Uh-huh. So you can throw something at Nika Kayanian, even though she just appears as Monk.
I didn't realize that. At the end, it says their names in the stats and stuff, so you can see who they were after the match is over. But I think they did that to prevent trolling and ganging up on someone you didn't like. I don't know, but I did not know that you could emote at someone. That's really funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or the other thing that you can do, I've got my Voke macro that puts into party chat what the mob is that I'm evoking, and that will actually put the name of the player into the party chat instead of the name of the mob.
Oh wow!
Yeah. It's pretty funny. I would love to be able.
It kind of failed on that system.
It's just macro finickiness. So.
It is. And maybe that's an oversight. I don't know. Maybe they didn't intend for that.
It was an oversight.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like that. Why would
the fact that they would hide the names in the first place was purposeful. So if they didn't block out all the other names, then that was kind of
It's probably just a limitation of the system, to be honest.
Yeah. All right.
The old standby.
Let's.
Let's
take our final caller here tonight. We're going to talk to Lloyd FFXI. He's wanted to talk about getting segregated into data centers and incentive. How's it going, Lloyd?
It's going pretty good. I just got off work a few hours ago, actually, so a little nervous and tired. So, hi, everybody.
Don't worry about it. It's all good. You're in good hands. So, what do you want to talk about in regards to the segregated data centers?
So, back in FFXI, we all played with Japanese, German, European players and all that. I was in multiple link shells where the time of day, the language would change. And that's why we had the auto-translate function. And that's why we have it in this game. Mm-hmm. But the thing is we don't have any players from different regions that speak different languages, who have different aspirations, who, in my opinion, actually pushed the game back in FFXI and is not pushing the game now, if that makes sense.
I think in a sense you're right with not having segregated data centers and being exposed to an audience that or a player base that doesn't speak the same languages. There's this saying in art and creativity that restriction breeds creativity. And I think that's true of everything, including MMO communities and social behavior as well. It's pretty common that in a restricted system you see really inventive play styles. You take for example a game like Dwarf Fortress. You have tons of options that you can that you have at your disposal to be able to play that game, and a lot of different avenues for you to explore. And so the more rules that we end up putting up on players, it of course is going to end up bringing its own type of restrictions in. So when you have very simple rules that it's not, you're not following a specific script, or, it's just, a simple set of rules that both the player and the world operate by. you end up with these opportunities for really organic methods of play and really inventive styles of play that that you just don't get when you have a system like this, where it's like, okay, you have your absolute best rotation, your mathematically best rotate. You know what I mean?
This job does this.
Exactly.
Only this.
Exactly. So I think language had a big part to play in that, because if you don't have the tools to communicate, you've got to be able to offset that in your game world as well.
But also in 14 as opposed to 11, latency is a much bigger concern.
That too.
I mean, the instant death mechanics are much more pinpoint. You can't have someone running a half second behind in a lot of fights. So I feel like that's another reason for the segregation.
And all that, that would
be my biggest concern
too.
Yeah, I mean,
it was just one of the things that I observed and all that. I would suggest maybe trying a low latency cross server and see if the community is more willing to not be casual or not be hardcore, but actually meet the middle line, because that's what I'm seeing between the American player base and the Japanese and European player base, is that we're not getting enough endgame content for the European and Japanese base, and we're not getting enough casual content for the American base.
How much more casual content could you possibly put into this game, though?
That's what I'm talking about, too, because I'm getting goddamn tired of all of the Golden Saucer stuff. Like, we should have just got Triple Triad, and the rest should have been dungeons. This game shouldn't have been about the casual side.
Well,
that's why I didn't.
I don't think you even need to have it fall into support for casual, support for hardcore, and it has to be one or the other. But I think that when you look at the amount of content that is both accessible and clearable by your average player of this game, and you compare that to to content that players struggle on, there is so much more that is just sitting at that bare minimum passable rate than there is on the other side that presents a challenge. And even this, and as we've identified, even the stuff that does provide a challenge doesn't end up providing it for very long. So
and that's the reason why I actually quit the game a few times. I take about 3 months out, and then I come back for a patch, and then I can do it in 3 or 4 days, and it's not fun.
Right.
At that point.
Right.
Yep.
And the only, you can do the grind slog for the new weapon, but let's just wait a year, and then I can just get it right then and there. Just one quest out. It doesn't make sense to me to outdate your content like they have been doing, and then try to make your player base keep with this $15 subscription fee. It angers me, I guess, and I love this game, and then I hate this game at the same time. If that makes sense.
No, Lloyd, I totally feel you on that, and it would be nice to see content on both sides of the table being supported. Instead of the incredibly weighted support that the casual content is getting, every time we get a new Crystal Tower like raid, we know that it's not going to present a challenge. There's more content for that half of the player base. Here's 2 more dungeons that aren't going to provide a challenge even day one. That's even more stuff for that side of and then you're going to throw Lords of Verminion on top of it. Something that not even that player base wants. It's insane. Really, when we talk about you could have spent your development time better, I think that's really what we're kind of getting at. Is that Lords of Verminion was a huge waste of time, not just for them as developers, but for the community. Nobody's doing it.
Well, and the other thing is look at Chocobo Racing, for instance. They copied and pasted that from FFXI. And it doesn't have any rewards other than maybe, I think, a achievements, if that, and you can get some of the currency. But other than that, what do you actually get out of that part of the golden saucer? Like,
nothing.
I don't understand. Like glamour, when they introduced glamour in 2.2, I think, or 2.3, I saw the downhill of this game because you can't incentivize through making things look good.
Right.
Because that doesn't. Like, you can have that system, but don't make it the end all be all. Not
it is an incentive. I mean, let's not misidentify it. I mean, glamour is an incentive. It is a reason to it's
a powerful incentive.
It is a very powerful
For
incentive
some people.
For some people.
For a lot of people.
And I would say for a very, very big portion of this game. So I don't think that that's something that can be ignored. But I think what they did is they tried to they pinned all of their hope on people wanting gear for specific glamours and stuff like that, and thinking that people will grind for that stuff, and they just won't. I mean, if the behavior of the community has taught us anything, they just won't. They won't do it. They're not interested in doing it, and you know what they'll do instead? They'll go play another game, is what they'll do.
Especially when it looks like balls.
Yeah. That too.
The new game?
No, the new gear.
The gear. Yeah. The Savage gear. It looks like balls.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about Brave and Soul again.
Boobs and shit. Isn't that what BNS stands for? Boobs and shit?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Thank you, Lloyd, for your call. We really appreciate it, and for all your calls here to Limit Break Radio tonight. It's been fascinating to get your side of what we can expect in the future. I know that a lot of us here are pretty pessimistic, and it seems like, if nothing else, I think that we have proved that there is a massive interest right now in the FF14 community about a PvP game mode that is separated from the PvE environment. That seems to be a very, very popular subject to talk about tonight. And I just, I gotta take a second. Darkstar, man, Darkstar's going off in this chat room and typing a small book about how the people who are leaving FF14 are the people who want botting RNT environments. Dude, let me just tell you, I've read almost all of your chat comments. Darkstar, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about. The ridiculous YouTube video that you sent me is I don't even know what to make of that. And the fucking book that you emailed us, I cannot in good conscience read that on air and bore everyone to death, okay? Here's the fact, dude. You don't know what you're talking about. And when you try to justify your shitty opinions, they just fall absolutely flat. So, I'm going to make a suggestion. Get out! Thank you. That was the suggestion. So here, let's take one last email here. This comes to us from Burning Skull of Gilgamesh. Hey guys, just wanted to hear your opinion on an idea I had, and probably others have had, to keep our number of abilities at a controllable level. I thought that from 60 to 70 range should get job traits instead of job abilities that transform or upgrade our old abilities without changing where they are in your rotation. For example, at 62, Monk could get a job trait that changes Boot Shine into Rock Shine. It has a new animation, higher potency, maybe does something different than Boot Shine, but you still do it in the same spot of your rotation. This way, when you get level synced, you wouldn't be changing buttons around every time as if they had just added a new ability that made our older ability useless. useless. Also, there's a theory for the ending of the animal weapons. A few episodes ago, you were discussing the significance of selecting a female and male voice for the weapon, but what if that's just as simple as that when you finish the quest line, you get a minion of the weapon spirit you keep seeing to go along with your weapon, whose appearance/color scheme is different based on which voice you picked. Keep up the good work, Burning Skull of Gilgamesh. I think that's an interesting idea. Having second tier abilities. If we're going to keep, if the level cap is going to keep going up, we are at the point where we're hitting ability bloat here, guys.
Yeah.
And so you know what? We're going to need to figure out a way to be able to make those. Rotations continue to be manageable.
Yeah, a run of job traits would be a really good way to approach the 60 to 70 run, and I like that they mentioned specifically that it would change the abilities in some way, but keep them in the same spot in the rotation. So your rotation may not changing, but the ability does something differently.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a pretty good suggestion, especially if they are going to be moving the level cap forward.
Yep.
So.
And it's actually a really big problem, ability bloat, if you attempt to do any kind of PvP, because that's adding another 5 to 8 abilities per job.
Yep.
So
there you go. Thank you guys so much for your calls and for your emails today. It's been a interesting show, and we've been happy to talk to you. Tune in next week here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio for episode number 49, just on the heels of episode 50. That's pretty cool. But we're going to be talking about the next live letter. Yoshi P is supposed to be outlining what we're going to be receiving with dungeons, the next, the first Warring Triad fight, as well as further additions and adjustments coming in the future. And their special guest for that live producer letter are going to be Koji Fox, and they're going to be talking about lore and specific things related to the world of FF14. So I'm going to be very interested to check out that producer letter, and we will be here on Sunday to break down all of that info. So please join us here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. That's next Sunday, most likely starting at 2. I'm going to guess starting at 2.
Probably. Yeah.
And that goes down here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Make sure you check out our website. That's at limitbreakradio.com. You can download episodes, subscribe to the podcast, comment on episodes, and check out our blog. That's all over at limitbreakradio.com. Follow us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/limitbreakradio, twitter.com at Limit Break Radio. Up Thor getting in there at the end.
All hail the Salt Commander.
That's right. All hail the Salt Commander. Thank you very much, Thor. And we appreciate your support over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio, cresting us above 2K a month, as well as your support over Patreon, like Thor Carson just did. That's going to wrap it up for Limit Break Radio for today, but I'm going to remind you to check out our other show over at finalencountercast.com and subscribe to our other Twitch account. That's twitch.tv/FinalEncounterCast. That's going to do it for Limit Break Radio. I want to thank my co-host, Juxtaposition, Escalia Ryumasa, Nika Kayanian. I'm Aniro. Keep listening. Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Aniro Grigori. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. Funding for Limit Break Radio is provided by Miri Kennett, Captain Failboat, Zurian Urexin, Azura Giacho, Bianca Forwin, Kalina Ashsaber, Thor Carson, My Waifu, and fellow Limit Break Radio listeners. To support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music in this episode provided by Husky by the Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV and video game rock covers and original music at facebook.com/Husky by the Geek. In-game graphics for Limit Break Radio's Twitch stream are provided by Diamond Multimedia. Check out their line of AMD graphics cards and other hardware at diamondmm.com. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.